All right, hey everybody, what is up? Welcome to episode 37 of the Across Your Bow podcast. With me, Sir Venom IK. I'm the most average host in America, and with me today is my guest, my man, hyf1re. You guys can hit him up over at facebook.gg/hyf1re or on the Twitters over at hyf1re. Of course, I am Sir Venom IK. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything that we're going to talk about today, or if you just want to be, just want to ask us any kind of questions, leave them here into the chat or down in the comment section below for you guys on YouTube. And if you guys are on YouTube and y'all want to come and have a live conversation with me or hyf1re, hit up his channel, facebook.fb.gg/hyf1re. He streams over on Facebook or right here, twitch.tv/SirVenomIK. All right, hyf1re, what is up, my man? This is, what is this, second time you've been on the cast? Third time?
Yeah, second time. Definitely.
Second time you've been on the podcast, man. So
Thanks for having me back.
It's been a busy week. So what have you been working on this week, my friend?
This week here, two different patches dropped, not necessarily for the PC 8.8, but also the French patch dropped for PlayStation 4. And so I recently, when I came back from Penny Arcade Expo this last week, I got accepted into the Community Contributors Program for the console.
Oh, nice.
So now I have both console and also the PC, and I'm trying to distribute content out there. And again, it's on Facebook, so I'm covering both of them on there. But yeah, it's been pretty busy week, and I'm barely even halfway through what I need to do for the PC version too.
Yeah, I know. We just had this update, and the Ark Royal showed up at our ports, and the Thunderer showed up in our ports, and so I've got to go in there and play those and do a review, do some reviews on those, and then at least we have a little bit of downtime. I mean, I don't think the next set of test ships is not till about another week or so, I think is what they were saying. So we got a little bit of downtime to catch up with some of this, catch up with just actual playing.
Right.
So good news. Rank season just ended. Did you partake in any of the rank sprint tier 6?
It just started right back up. We're right back into the next season and ranked already.
Yeah,
too.
I know. Rank season just ended at tier 6, and then now you're at tier 7 for rank season. And not only that, but as soon as that one's done, we're going into a tier 8 rank season with carriers.
Yeah. So I did rank out when we and Armor Guppy, we did a pair for that, and he ranked out in 17 matches. I ranked out in 19. We did a CV, DD, AA combo, and we just wrecked it. And I tried to go over my EU account over there, and I went to like 20 rounds. I'm like, nope, never mind. Different ships.
It's different play style over there, man. And I'm the first one to say it. I don't buy into the whole EU's better than NA and NA because everybody wants. It's a big EP waving contest, and I don't ever buy into that. I'm like, dude, when I go over there and play, I poop on all over everybody I get shit on. When I am over here and play, I poop on everybody and I get shit on over here. So there's no difference. The difference is mentality, and I think that the American server is a little bit more aggressive. As opposed to the EU servers, a little bit more standoffish, but when they do make a push, the whole team goes. So I think there's a little bit more team play over on the EU server than there is on the EU server, or than the North American server. But
I do find myself hung out a little dry and early sometimes on the EU server. I'm like, why is nobody coming up with me? What the hell? Let's go.
Yeah. They're very passive. It's a very passive play style over on the EU, and very slow. And to be honest with you, it's not for me. I can't play over there, man. It's too slow for me. And the game is slow enough as it is, right? Mm-hmm. So why subject yourself to even more of a slow down gameplay? And I think that's kind of the way that it's been headed, slow play for quite a long time. Even over here on the NA server, you're starting to see a lot of really slow games. They're either extremely quickly, they're extremely over fast, so you know within the 5 minutes if you're going to win or not, or they're so long and so drawn out that you're just like, oh my God, hurry up.
Right. Yeah, a lot of times you can tell if a team doesn't get capture points and you lose, I don't know, maybe even 5 ships, and you hit that 0 count, game's over. So yeah, next thing you know, 6 or 7 minutes in, game's done. You're like, well, you didn't push the caps, so
what can you do? What can you do? I mean, it's like, let's go do this. All right, well, let's go jump into some news here. Lots of news here today. Patch 8.8 just dropped. A lot of interesting things. Sound has been the biggest issue, according to a majority of the people. Some guns sound really loud. Some guns you can't hear at all, and the other guns are just me. Have you
Right.
experienced any of that?
Yeah, I have. When I first jumped into some of the guns were excessively loud, and when I was broadcasting it to my viewers and stuff, it was like, "Are you guys ears not blowing out or anything here?" And so I turned down a little bit here and there because I actually adjust a lot of my different sounds, and because my audience, some reason, likes to have that large boom on their
Yeah.
audio from their living room or something going on, barely want to hear me. So it's like I adjust it. So if it requires like a reset adjustment, I'm gonna have to go through all of it again. But yeah, I have actually I had my dad when he was division up with me. He was watching my ship, and he was hearing clinks and something like that in the engine or whatnot. I'm like, I don't hear that. What are you hearing? So strange.
I found it interesting though. I generally turn my in-game sounds down relatively low because playing music in the background, playing overriding the talk, the game becomes like a secondary thing for me personally. Yes, I still hear them, and yes, I like to hear them, but I generally turn them down anyway. So when I go in and I'm like, okay, this should be normal settings, and then kaboom, and it blows my ears out. That's something to be concerned about. And then I, switch over to play a DD, and you can't hear the guns at all because and the secondaries don't sound anything. The AA mounts aren't you can't hear those things.
It seems like there's some type of muffling going on between each one. It's like you'll hear the large guns, and then a radio command will come up, and then all of a sudden you can't hear anything.
Yeah.
So there's some type of something's going on with the audio.
Well, they have put out a public service announcement saying that they understand that there is a problem and they are looking into fixing it. So stay tuned, I guess. I don't know, to stay tuned, not to my channel, but to stay tuned to the proper channels over on the Twatters and the Reddits and all that other stuff to figure out what they're going to do to fix it. Sound, do you think sound's important to the game? I mean, like, how much of an important do you think sound is?
It depends. It kind of depends on what platform you're streaming on, because technically when I was on Twitch, for example, I played a lot of music on my channel, but that music, you didn't have any copyright stuff going on with it, so it was freely able to stream it, but I wasn't able to like record it later. It'll say like it's blocked out. Yeah. So having the sound volume on that lower was beneficial for my channel because they can hear me and also they hear the music, and that audience there would put in a lot of requests for different songs. I can't do that on Facebook, because Facebook has a really aggressive bot. Anything about 30 seconds long, if it's actually picked up as copyright, will shut down the stream immediately. It's not a mute or anything; it just cuts the stream. Period.
Oh wow!
So yeah, a lot of other streamers now that are coming through, they get away with just a little 25-second clip, and they can get away with that. But if it goes over 30 seconds, it's going to be a TOS on that, and it'll be taken down. So in that retrospect, instead, if I can't play a lot of like good tunes, my audience tend to like to hear the warring sounds. So if I'm sitting up with a Bismarck going in a co-op, and the Bismarck's going, and I'm firing, my viewership just goes, and then once that battle's done, right back down. So I'm like, why? Because it's just some of it sounds interesting. So when they tune into that stream, something's going on. There's a bunch of chaos going on.
Yeah, you got a lot of things happening, and I understand that. Something I would like to see come from the game visually, and they've done a pretty decent job visually this patch as well, adding some more layers or whatever to where you can actually see shadows going across the water and all that other stuff. But for Christ's sake, can I get changeable freaking armor-piercing fucking shell colors? For the love of God, can I change the colors of these shells? Because I still, to this day, cannot see some things coming in certain angles. And it's very frustrating. I'm like, look, guys, you guys can do it for the space battles. Y'all can turn the shells green. Y'all can do it for the Halloween event, turning those shells whatever the hell color you want to. Why do I have to go to a mod? Why don't you just put it in the game? Nobody else has to see it. I just want to be able to see it and make it visible to where I can see these shells coming in.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's been long overdue, and I think that they need to bring that in.
Well, I mean, there is a colorblind setting on there, and I'm not going to say that you're colorblind or anything, but if you change that to it changes the colors a lot. Fire looks like it's purple and stuff, so it's really strange looking. But you're able to see a lot of different things on there. But I understand what you're saying. It's like I remember I think we tried to make this argument with them, and they came back saying that certain maps are made this way for aesthetics because you have like a sun on the horizon
I don't
or
give a
something
shit.
that's
Fuck your aesthetic. I don't care. I want to be able to see them goddamn shells. Nobody's out there looking at the maps 90% of the time. You do that in training room. I want to be able to dodge this shit, man.
All right. Go back, change all settings down to like 8-bit and everything. That way you can just see his big ass square.
Just big square coming through. You look like one of the Moonanites off of Aqua Teen Hunger Force with their little.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming for you. Hell yeah! I don't know, man. Visually the game is pretty good. The models on the ships are pretty good, and I really do appreciate what they've done. And speaking of that, happy birthday! 4 years old. World of Warships is now. That's pretty impressive. It's a relatively long life cycle here for a game in this day and age when you're not having to put out a new game every year, a la Call of Duty or Madden or basketball or whatever the hell thing it is. But I'm pretty impressed with the longevity of the game and how many people are continuing to play the game. Now, the game is, would you say the game is player base wise? I don't have any numbers in front of me, but just offer your feeling here. Do you think the game is more players now than there was when we first started playing? Because I've played 3.5 years. You've played relatively the same amount of time.
I've played more about 4.5 years. I remember first, second, third birthdays, now fourth birthday.
Yeah.
I would say that the game has progressively gotten a larger player base. And the thing is, with the North America server, I don't think you would see it very much in the North American server. But if you see it in other servers, when I jump on theirs, they can be 40 to 50,000 players deep on their prime times where we can barely muster up maybe 25. So I think what it is if you were taking a look at North America server, it's a slow growth. Something like on the backbones of like tanks. So tanks even had a pretty slow growth too, and it's still not very huge like Call of Duty or Apex or anything like that, but it's still progressively growing. But as far as growing in other servers, there's way larger player base on those servers.
I think that says something about the American play style. If you sit and watch, and we watch these things like the King of the Sea tournaments or the Supremacy League back in the day, and the game is just very slow. The game is very slow, and it's on. I think that it's not very inviting for a lot of people just based on how slow the game actually is. In this world of the Apex Legends, let's just go with that. That's a pretty slow, but then a whole lot of real quick action, and you're pretty much constantly doing something in the entire game. Whereas you're sailing out here, and then you just kind of wait on some things. And it's really interesting overall dynamic. But until people get in there, they're never going to understand it. And there's got to be some kind of way to trigger that. To get people interested, I think.
Yeah, I think when someone first tunes in to watch like a live streamer for World of Warships, if they come in at like the start of the match, like they just barely got the 30-second countdown, the first minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes into the game, you're gonna be like, "What's going on?
Yeah,
where's everything going?" Yeah. Well, if you're looking at a statistician person or so, they're looking to get into position. But for someone that is a high pace like Apex Legends, Call of Duty, or so, they're running around trying to get as many frags as they can. Yeah. So that's going to be more action, more fast, and everything happens on the fly. But for us, for World of Warships, it is a more slower game, but it's really more about positioning. If you have a particular ship and you get into a position, you're in the wrong position, sayonara, you're gone.
Yeah, wrong position or wrong angle, or you weren't paying attention. I mean, there's a lot of nuance to this game that I think the I want to say average player, but the below average player just doesn't get. They just don't understand yet, or to whatever extent, or they sit there and play co-op, and they don't understand dick. about the game. But that either way, that's besides the point. So anyway, happy 4 years to Wargaming and on a product that's kept us coming back for 4 years. So right now they're giving away first victory on all your Tier 10 ships and your Tier 10 premiums. You're getting a super container. Now I've only done a few of these, and I figure I would unlock them all and then open them all at once. That's kind of my thought on those. Did you get anything out of your supers, or have you done it yet?
I'm one of those community contributors that I've plateaued out. So basically, all of the premium ships that you can earn through those containers, I've got them all.
Yeah.
So I can't get any more. So the only thing I'm hoping for now that I pray for is steel containers, and I've gotten one.
I don't think I've ever gotten a steel container. I've gotten a lot of coal containers, but I'm sitting on 400,000 coal, so what the hell am I going to do with it? Honestly, dude, I pray for debt flag containers. Honestly, that's what I want. I pray for debt flag containers, and when we do a giveaway after that, you know.
Nice.
If we just happen to get a super container full of dead flags, because I think that's probably the most important flag in the game.
Yeah. So when I open my super containers, that's what I'm praying for, is the steals and stuff, because that's the super containers are rare in the first place, and then getting steel from the super containers is even ultra rare. So that's like the one things that I try to look for and hope for.
Yeah, there you go. As for tier 8s and 9s, you will receive camos. You'll receive 2 camos. No. Containers, special boxes. You will receive 2 boxes for each tier 9 that you get a win in on the regular line and the premiums, and then you will receive 1 container for every tier 8 premium and regular line ships. So go out there, and the easiest way, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, just go up in a co-op. That's it. Easiest way to do it. Go up in a co-op and just go laugh at the people that think they're taking co-op seriously, shoot everything down, run in there, die, and then, maybe kill somebody, die, and then move on to the next game. And just repeat that until you're done. That's pretty much it. Those are the most important boxes. As for the rest of them, they're just like camos and stuff. Nobody cares about the anniversary camos.
The tier 8 and 9 actual gift boxes, they're only going to give you like 5 of the special flags. But, if you're going through the research center and stuff, and you have reset like 7 different lines like I have, those particular special flags get you through those lines real quick.
Absolutely. We reset the American battleship line, the UK battleship line, which sucks, and the UK cruiser line, which has been pretty fine. The UK battleship line, man, I am having such a hard time getting wins. I just cannot do enough damage. I'm playing tier 6. We played 9 games in a row. Couldn't win one of them to get my first win.
To be honest, my British battleships, I have never been able to really carry teams with them. I can do a lot of damage, a frick ton of damage, but I just can't I can't carry them. So they end up getting lost. My average win ratio for the British battleships are bad. Yeah,
I think that that's something to be said, that they're not technically battleships. They might have the battleship armor and the battleship big guns, but they're just glorified cruisers, and they're just big beefy cruisers. And you have to play them accordingly. You're not good. Your one shot potential is very low, and you're actually dominating the game is very low as well. So the longer the game goes on, the stronger you get, just like cruisers. So I don't understand. I would like to see a heavy battleship line come out to where it has some good AP instead of the questionable AP when they put everybody on this. Oh, I'm an HE battleship, which now I'm seeing Yamatos with IFHE on them. And see, guys, every time I say that, I get that same reaction. I literally high fire. Hand to spreadsheet Jesus. Hand to spreadsheet Jesus. I have been told that I didn't know what I was doing because I was using AP in a Yamato and not IFHE. And slinging nothing but HE.
Really?
Hand to spreadsheet Jesus, man.
I don't know. The highest, the potential damage you get with slinging with the Yamane is just soft for more damage you can do potentially than doing HE, even with IFHE, because the caliber of the IFHE are still going to be able to penetrate a lot of the deck armors and stuff already, but your AP rounds they're god AP rounds.
Mm-hmm. They're the biggest shells in the game. You got the lolly pins. I mean, that's just the thing. I think that guy was Tired of all of the overpins, which we've recently discovered the reason for all of the overpins because of shell speed. And here's something I want to put to you, Hi-Fire, and think about this way. British battleships have some of the biggest guns. They're pretty decent guns, and they have some what they have deemed themselves short fuse AP.
Mm-hmm.
Why in the world, if I have short fuse AP, am I still only overpinning DDs?
Because
short fuse AP.
Shell, still the larger the caliber and that velocity, even with short fuse, is still not long enough. It's still not enough time before it goes to the other side. So it's the short fuse. Short fuses work really well against cruisers.
Does it though?
With the AP rounds
at 10 kilometers.
It does. Well, what you're going to see is when you use AP rounds against cruisers, you're not going to get a lot of citadels, but you get a lot of damage on one volley. Yeah, because what they do is they penetrate the armor and they explode on that part of that ship. Where instead of going overpin the citadel, that's where you get your 10% damage on there. So that's why those AP rounds with the short fuse are against cruisers. They do a lot of damage against cruisers, but they don't get citadels because they explode on the top part of it or the deck armor. They don't actually explode in the citadels most of the time.
I always thought it was funny when they made that change. I was like, this short fuse AP, it's supposed to explode in that narrower armor, man. It's supposed to explode in that. And I'm just like, whatever. It happens, but it's neither here nor there. It's still, I still think AP is more consistent than HE is.
I have found that if a lot of cruisers, if you're slinging AP rounds at distance, cruisers that are complete broadside like this, they will get overpinned. But when they angle just a little bit, maybe 30, 40 degrees and they're angled, citadels.
I think that's funny because coming up through the ranks like we have, when you saw a cruiser broadside, you got these big, wide fucking puppy dog eyes, and you was like, "Oh baby,
yeah,
oh baby, show me that citadel," and you would knock the ever-loving living shit out of them, and you would kill them. And now you can't do that under 10 anymore. You just can't do it. So battleships end up staying so far away, and which has slowed the game down even more. But that's neither here nor there, and we're not going to go into that because we did that last week. As for Tier 7 and below, I believe it's Tier 5, 6, and 7 of the line ships. You get the anniversary camos, and then all of the premiums from Tier 2 all the way to Tier 7, you're getting anniversary camos as well. So if you guys don't have any camos or you guys want something to grind out for your regrind, this is a perfect opportunity. Go up into the co-op, go unlock all those on those things, and then throw them onto whatever you're regrinding.
Make sure not to use a coat. Make sure not to use a camo. And then get another camo for taking that one in the match.
Just one for one.
Well, yeah, because you got to make sure you take that crappy camo, the 1, 2, 3 type. The one that doesn't have very many bonuses. Go into co-op with that. Then burn that camouflage. Yeah. That way you're not using another camouflage just to get one more.
Right. Also, a directive. The directives this time, once you finish all of the challenges for the next couple of weeks, you will receive a free premium Tier 6 boat. So if you guys have all the Tier 6 premiums, then there is a doubloon value waiting for you. I believe is what they said. So that's something cool to get people to play through that.
Yeah. I mean, when I was looking at it, and you do the first week, you get a super container for doing those objectives. 1, 2, and 3 are all super containers, and then the fourth one is a guaranteed Tier 6 premium. So, yeah, if someone, unlike myself, doesn't have all the Tier 6 premium ships, then, yeah, get it done.
Yeah. As for moving on into the new port today, the designer's table port.
Yeah.
That thing actually looks pretty dope. I mean, go ahead, pop it up, man. Drink it up. Chug. Designer's port. You guys can see the woodworking tools and everything that are actually on the table, and then the boat that's sitting on the actual stand. I kind of like this port. They do ports really well, and most of them I just don't really. I look at them for about a day, and then I just go back to my main port because it's basic.
Yeah.
But I do like the new port.
Yeah, there's a little cat running around too. You hear him every once in a while. There's a few things that you miss out if you have your carousel at 4 ships wide. I noticed this when I was watching somebody else, and I asked them, I was like, "Did you notice the Lesta marking on the bottom of the base of the ship?"
I saw
And
that.
they're like, "No." And they're like, "What? Where's this? What are you talking about?" Well, when they came back to their port after they're done, their carousel was just blocking that entire bottom part, and they didn't see Lesta at all on there.
So what is
If you guys don't know
Lesta?
who Lesta is, the original studio that rolled the warships with their out of St. Petersburg. That's the company that was building like a World of Warships title before they were incorporated into wargaming.
There you go.
So when you go to look up Lesta Studios in St. Petersburg, you'll get an actual address because that's what the company, that's the name that they're still.
I sent some swag over to Earl over in St. Petersburg, and it was Lesta Studios.
Yeah.
Yep. I get it. That's a nice little homage to the old school crew. Nice little homage there. As for Thunderer's out, 252,000 coal. The Ohio is out, 62,000 research points. The Udachi is out, which you can get for like $20 or whatever. The Mogador and the Kleber are now available to research. What do you think? What do you think of these boats? So let's just take the premium ships first. There, the Thunderer. I know you did some testing on it. I know I did some testing on it. What do you think of this thing?
Yeah, when we first started doing the testing on Thunder, it was garbage. We couldn't do anything with it. It kept getting Citadel that would you couldn't. It was like a almost an exact copy of a Conqueror, but just nerfed.
Yeah.
So we couldn't quite figure out. But did you notice though that when you go to your Conqueror now, there is no 457 option anymore?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so it's only 419s on the Conqueror.
Man,
now.
I really like trolling with them big 457 guns. I was like one of the only players ever to do 457 Conqueror. I don't know. I'm sure somebody out there. Oh, I used to do it. I'm like, okay, whatever. But either way, I loved doing 457 Conqueror. What do you guys want to play? Big gun Conqueror.
Well, now you have it for the Thunder.
Fuck. Well, I guess I got to play Thunderer. I guess that's the new meme boat. I remember the first iteration of the Thunderer. I actually enjoyed the first iteration. It was punishing. Yeah, it was punishing, but I had probably 6 or 7 games in a row over 150 grand, and I'm like, it's easier to get the 100 grand using HE, but I am who I am, and I like to. If I see an opportunity, I'm going to make that swap over to AP, and it would just absolutely smash people. And so when you could actually get good dispersion on it, but I thought it was fine from the beginning, and they just made it better. The only downside to this, guys, it is 8 457 guns. It has an extra heel on it, but it's not a super heel like the Conqueror has. It's a regular heel. That's what they gave it. They gave it an extra heel to compensate for not having the super heel. So is there any reason to bring this boat? No. Bring the Conqueror. It's just better. You got the super heel. You got the apparently you got 12 guns versus 8 guns.
It was that niche, just like you were saying. If you like that 457 on the Conqueror, now you get it on the Thunder only.
Yep. So we'll be playing that, and I got to do some reviews. I think Thunder is up for giveaway for us community contributors as well. If we do or at least the level 2 guys, I guess. I don't know. Either way, we'll figure that out. We'll figure that out in the future. But Ohio. I thought this thing was a shit boat when it started, and it's still going to be a shit boat. I hate these boats. I hate secondary spec boats, man. I can't stand these things.
I'm the opposite from you on that one. When I was playing the Ohio, I was dominating 200,000 damage games when it first came out. I'm going, whoa. If this boat came out as it is now, it shits on everything.
Here's my problem with these boats. We've already talked about overpins everywhere.
Yeah.
We've already talked about overpins everywhere. And now you're only effective with these secondaries at 11.3 kilometers, which means what? I'm going to overpin fucking everything. So I'm not a fan of the Georgia because of the 6 guns. I'm not a fan of the Ohio because of the 8 guns. What the Ohio does, it does very well. I'm not going to knock it for doing what it does well. I lose a little bit of respect. I don't say necessarily respect, but I don't like it. I don't like it when community contributors compare it to the Montana, because it's 2 different play styles. You have one very aggressive pushing boat, which which in and of itself is its own play style. And then you have the Montana, which is kind of a jack of all trades. You can do whatever you need to do in the Montana to make the game work for you.
Yeah.
So I really tried to shy away from comparing it to the Montana. What do you think?
It's just more like a Georgia, just a beefed up Georgia. I mean, you extra additional turret in the back, so you have a little bit more, and then the reload time is slightly better too.
They actually word on the reload time that when it initially released, it had a 30-second reload time, and it was supposed to be 27.5 seconds. So they are fixing that as well.
Well, I mean, when it first came out, it was like 30, and then they dropped it down to like 25. So people were bringing it down to like 21. Yeah. And then that made it super overpowered because you're just slinging 18 shells everywhere. And then along with that, and along with your 11.3. But I believe that the Ohio has one additional 127 millimeter cannon on both sides. So you got the Georgia with the 4, and then I think the Ohio has the 5th one.
Right.
On both sides. So one additional one on both sides. So yeah, it's a secondary monster, and it has 8 guns. So yeah, it's still a monster.
It's interesting. It's interesting how some of the dynamic of the game has
changed over to spammy kind of boats.
Yeah.
Yeah. Between your Smolenks, your secondary guns, Ohio secondaries, Georgia, and all that stuff. Yeah, it's that and all your docket cruisers.
Yeah. Sorry, I had a message I had to take care of real quick, but check this out. Check this out, hyf1re. With boats like the GK, God man, I hate having this conversation over and over again, but it's a new person to bounce it off of. So let me bend your ear for a second here, and then let me see what you have to say about it. With the GK, the Freddy the Groper, and the Bismarck, the Tirpitz, you got the Massachusetts, the Ohio, the Georgia. All these are beefy secondary spec boats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say the game currently benefits the secondary spec boats?
It's an easy mode. So you can spec your captain out to be more accurate, to be more tanky kind of thing, to withstand more shells, but you lose that easy mode is what I call it. Basically, if you take your captains, you spec them out for secondaries, all you have to technically do is just get in range.
Yeah.
And you'll have something that takes care of damage for you. So like an easy mode. Now, before the Tirpitz, before the Bismarck was out, you had to actually kind of earn. You actually had to shoot stuff to actually do damage on them. So, is the game going toward more of easy mode? I believe it is.
That's not. Then let me redirect this. Do you think that the game facilitates that secondary playstyle currently? Do you think that it facilitates it well?
I don't know.
Basically, here's my thoughts on this. I think that the game is played at a range where secondary boats are at a disadvantage being in the game at the moment.
Yeah.
Unless you're playing, well, let's just take a peek here at some of these two new maps. Crash Zone Alpha, very wide open map.
Wide open maps. Yes.
Greece has some areas that has some potential for secondary boats being covered to get halfway across the board. So they do okay there, but for the majority of that map, it's pretty wide open. Tears of the Desert, it's a pretty wide open map except for that one little, the little circle of islands. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, North has been a map forever. Northern Lights, North. A lot of islands, very good secondary map. If you have a big wide open map, secondary boats just suck because you're not going to be very effective at it. Not only that, but the majority of the games aren't played at that 11 kilometers unless you push that 11 kilometers. It's more played anywhere between 15 to 18 kilometers. So it doesn't really benefit the less number of guns, more error with the more margin for error with the dispersion.
Yeah.
So I think that secondary boats are something that they need to get away from currently because they've just kind of been power crept away. Well, I don't necessarily see power crept away. They've been mapped away. They've been ranged away. They've been docket away. That they're not really all that effective. And the typical normal battleship player has zero desire to ever push in anymore because of that DACA factor of the fire, the just the amount of fire that everything can put out there today. So, and that's the reason why for the question. Do you agree with that, or do you think that obviously you're going to get this Jackleberry? Well, the good player is going to make his boat work no matter what. Yeah. And I understand this, but I'm and you have to deal with whatever you have to deal with to make your boat work for you for that particular game.
Yeah.
So what do you think overall?
I think there are still some maps that secondary boats are still very effective with.
Oh, absolutely.
So yes, there are some maps that have been being put out that are seem to be wide open, larger spaces, because I believe more of those maps are geared for like the French stuff that's fast.
Yeah.
That gets way out there and can shoot at range. I believe what the Italian cruisers using its range capabilities too is that they're going to be doing kind of the same thing. They're going to go way out there at maximum ranges and dock out. So yeah, secondary boats are going to be a little less effective with these maps, but they are still very effective on certain other maps already. So
right.
Knowing those, just got to adjust your tactics, like you said.
Yep. A good player is going to make his boat work no matter what. I was in playing at Georgia. This is just an example of why I don't particularly care for these things. Rolling past a Musashi. Couldn't catch up with me because I was out turning his guns. Pulled my back turret down there, double citadel for 36,000 damage, and he fucking survived. I was so pissed that guy survived. If I was in Montana or if I was in Iowa, he probably would have died because of that reason. So he stayed alive and killed 2 more people before I could get reloaded.
Wow.
So I'm like, I don't. It's the same feeling I have with the small 15-inch guns. They just don't have enough punch power to put people down quick enough. So you end up taking more. They end up doing more damage to your team. So I just don't see the point of having bigger guns. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I did. It was a beautiful shot for 36,000 damage, but it just wasn't enough. And the secondaries don't do damage fast enough to that particular style of boat. And so what can you do? You're just kind of subject to, well, fuck me. And, or fuck those 2 guys that just died, ended up killing a guy and having 250,000 damage overall in that game. But I'm just like, I just don't feel useful in this boat. It just doesn't do what I need it to do when I need it to do it.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I've experimented.
Go ahead.
I've experimented with the Massachusetts and the Georgia and now the Isle. The 127s, they do a lot of fire and spam kind of thing. Yeah. But as far as the chances of fires, it is kind of seldom. But a lot of those 127s break or bounce. Yeah. It's the same 127s you get from
the Atlanta
lamps and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So what I found to do is it's almost necessary to do the IFHE for the battleships, even though it says hey, this is not worth it here, but actually your secondaries it is.
There's some of them I recommend IFHE on the American ones. I'm not a big fan of the Massachusetts at all, but I will play it, and I do very well playing it because I don't care. All you have to do is literally just roll in and let your secondaries do things.
Easy mode.
It's not a range boat. And I find the play style very
comfortable.
It's uncomfortable for me because the first basically 8 to 10 minutes of the game you're kind of doing nothing. You're kind of floating around, waiting, looking for your spot to go in, and then when you find it, you get all of your damage in this very short amount of time before you A, either die, or B, the game is over, or C, the game is so far out of reach it doesn't matter what the fuck you do. Yeah. So that's my theory, and I'm not a big fan of secondary boats, but I can appreciate what they do and how they're getting their damage done. I can appreciate that, no problem. It's just not a play style for me, and some people like that play style.
one of the few things that you realize too is that when you have destroyers and stuff around, they're not going to easily start firing with a ship that has secondaries that actually can't hit them.
Yeah. Well, not only that they can hit them, that they can hurt them. These secondary boats. I'm not going to shit on them the whole entire time without giving them a little props. When they go through, you can do extreme damage to these DDs, and it'll force them to. Oh fuck! Now why? Holy shit! I made a mistake here. Will it kill them? Most likely not. You're going to have to shoot at them, and then during the reloads to be able to kill them. But go ahead.
I had the perfect example back of Volgar the Viking when we were doing clan battles a long time ago. He had the Grosser Kurfürst out there, and what he did is he stayed pretty far back. Me, I had the Haberosk, so I went all the way around, started trying to engage, and all he had to do secondary focus, and I couldn't touch him. Just trying to keep me away from him, disconnecting me from the team, and they won. So
there's some interesting things that you can do, and they can be effective doing what they do when they do it. Guys are hanging out with my man hyf1re right now. You guys can hit him up over on his Facebook page, fb.gg/hyf1re. You guys can hit him up over at the Twatters and hyf1re. Of course, I am Sir Venom IK. Sir_Venom_IK over on the Twatters, and right here at twitch.tv/Sir Venom IK. Guys, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything that we're talking about, go ahead and leave them into the chat, and we will do it for the Q&A session toward the end of the show. All right, now you mentioned it. Here just a second ago. The Italian birds coming out.
Yeah.
Now I've played most of them. I played the tier 10, played the Palo, the DD there, and then I played the 2 tier 5s. I played a couple of the tier 9 ones, but I didn't really touch the 6, 7, or 8 yet.
I think the one of the tier 5s one didn't have that smoke.
The Genova, that's 203s with 20-second reloads and a 13.1 kilometer range. They have since adjusted that to make it 14 and change to make it a little bit more comfortable. It is a very bad boat at 13 kilometer range. We're talking less range than an AFT'd Atlanta. 13.3 versus 13.1.
I had struggled with the 203 millimeters on those. Yes, it do damage, but it's just you just got shit on left and right on that boat.
Let's put it this way: I 2-shot a full health Minsk in that thing because you can do damage.
Yeah,
and these SAP things are going to do damage, and I'm pretty appreciative of the damage that they can do. So let's talk about the play style. We were talking about the French boats being way out in the middle of nowhere doing their thing. Now this is 4 lines, four very similar lines that have all basically the same play style. The Hindenburg, the Zau, the Henry, and now the Italian birds. They're going to come out. They're going to be long-range spammers to varying degrees. The German, the Hindenburg's relatively tanky. The Zau's relatively stealthy, and then you got the speed demon, that is the Henry. These aren't any of those, because there is no extra damage from fires on these boats.
No.
So
right.
I think that the higher skilled players are going to make these things work extremely well, and they're going to absolutely love them because it's all on that player to get that damage. There's no extra fire and forget type damage.
Yeah, it does require more work for those to do damage.
And if you can make it work, then you're going to love them. But for the average player, the one that wants to see those big damage numbers, he's not going to want to work that hard for it. And I don't think that this is going to be a very popular line with the overall general community because it's not easy mode, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I can see that without having the fires and stuff, that one that you're hoping for doesn't come through when you're firing at those targets. So you have to be dead on. You have to get those hits. If you don't get them, then there's like no chance of fire at all. So it does, for me, it does require more work. But overall, there's still a lot of damage potential in those. Yeah, and it obliterates destroy.
Oh yeah, it's a monster for DDs, man. I can't express at how much damage these things do. Let's just take it this way. That gearing guy that bitched and moaned at getting one shot by a Montana from 15 kilometers away, which I thought was fine to begin with, but now he's getting 2 shot from 8 to 10 kilometers away in from a cruiser, and
cruiser.
it's not like these things are rapid fire. These things have extremely long reload, and so to offset some of that loss of potential damage, they've raised the damage on these semi AP shells.
Yep.
I like them. I kind of like them, man. I mean, the first couple of games I played, it took me a while to figure out the right attitude of what I need to do. These things are not tanky. These things are very squishy. So you're not making pushes in this thing. This is a complete runaway boat. If you can get people and you can kite people into you, kite people in, kite them around, get the flank, go with that Henry, get the flank and get the broadsides of battleships, you're going to do 10, 15,000 damage volleys. Mm-hmm. You're going to knock the ever-loving living shit out of cruisers. And you're gonna murder DDs.
Yeah, I've made a few mistakes before when I first started the line, going right up there, being the first ship up there, and then trying to turn around or get away. I was like, nope, it's flat. So it's always I always kind of kept it a little bit behind, let them advance over, and then just like while they're up there, I'm firing over them.
Yeah.
And then if I get in trouble, that'll pop and smoke, turn around, only lasts for like 10 seconds. That way
let's talk about that smoke. That's a very unique smoke. Full speed rolling smoke. I found when I'm using it, I end up being more of a detriment to myself than a safety, than a saving thing. Yeah, I'm shooting at somebody, I pop my smoke, and then I'm like, shit, I can't see anything. And with some of with like something like the Perth or the Hydia that has that rolling smoke, you can keep going and it'll extend. You'll be able to spot, make a shot, and then you'll go dark, and then you'll extend, and then it'll spot. You can't do that in these. Oh. You can't do that in these. This is a completely defensive smoke because there's no offensive potential in this because you have no hydro.
Yeah, no hydro, no AA,
no radar.
Scout plane, nothing, no radar. So it's literally just basically smoke. I don't think you even get an AA or on that either. But I found that if you use the smoke in the inappropriate time, like if you are chasing like a destroyer or something, if you like spotted by a destroyer first and then you just pop your smoke just to be there, next thing you know, that only thing lasts for like 10 or 15 seconds or so. You come out of there, all of a sudden 5 battleships are aiming at you. You're gone.
Yep.
Because you mistimed your smoke when you should have, popped your smoke when you had 5 battleships looking at you. Yep. Then you can get away.
Yeah, then you can get away. Yeah, definitely run away with that smoke. Overall, I've enjoyed the short amount of playtime that I've had. Now we're talking about the Tier 5 line ship. It has 152 millimeter guns, 8 of them, and whatever. I mean, I don't care. It's Tier 5. You're going to play this boat 4 or 5 times, and maybe 15 games total in this thing. It's fine for what it is. The damage isn't all the best because of the 152s. It's okay. I mean, it fits right in with the rest of the Tier 5s.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have the big guns like the 180s of the Kirov. It doesn't have the 203s like the Furry Taco does. It's a better than the Omaha, but that's not saying a whole lot because the Omaha's bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, it's decent 5.
It's not bad. So, did you play any of the others?
I did a little bit of the 6 and 7. Got the very similar strat. What I ended up doing this time around is I wanted to go from the bottom of the barrel on up, because what I did with the French lines, I went from the top and then started going down. And then by the round, at 7, I was like completely disappointed. And then I was like 6, I'm not even gonna try it. So this time around, I did the 2 different 5s. Then I went to 6 and 7. Didn't have time to do the 8 and 9, so couldn't pass on those. But I can definitely tell the difference between your 5 and your 6 and your 7. It became a much better progressive line.
A good progressive tier. Now I know with cruisers, Tier 7 is generally the tippity top, and when they start going in, I know Tier 5 is all right. Tier 6 is it's a little bit better, but Tier 7 is where it shines. And then you tend to take a step down at Tier 8, and then you work up again, kind of like a roller coaster. Did you feel that? Did you feel this time around?
Yeah. It goes up and it progressively gets better. One of the things that got better too is the torpedoes.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that you set and you forget, and all of a sudden you just get unexpected people running into them and stuff.
Yeah. Teammates.
I ran into those like BBUs would be fine. line that the actual torpedoes get further range, but they are very slow.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's like destroyers and stuff can almost run into them going full speed, but it catches a lot of battleships off surprise. So you're just you are engaging them, they start engaging you, you pop your smoke, you turn around, and send. Next thing you know, 5 minutes later, bing bing.
Oh, wait, where'd those come from? I don't remember dropping those. They're like they remind me of the 20-kilometer Udachi peds that you just kind of throw out there. Maybe you hit something, maybe you don't, but you don't ever really count on these peds.
No.
I find those peds, a lot of pink going to happen with those peds, but that's okay. They've put out a lot of stuff recently, and they put a lot on us as testers recently as well. All the French DDs, then all of the cruisers for the Italian job, and then just now you're trying to play rank season, play clan battle season, play rank season again. Then guess what? We're on this, and now we're going into the birthday event. Now we have the Halloween event coming up. Now there's so much testing phases on us, and I'm interested to hear what the rest of the community is saying. The rest of you guys out there in the chat, what you guys think about all of the stuff that they've kind of really just shoved into this game in the last year. I guess they're getting ready for subs. They want to put out as much. This is my only theory that I have. Hyf1re. Let me know what you think. They have this year have put in more shit into this game than they have in the years past.
Yeah.
And they're getting it ready because the game is going to absolutely flip 180 degrees when the submarines come in.
I don't think so. Think about it. They already said they're going to have one or two submarines per side. 1 or 2
subs, yeah.
Yeah, per side. And whenever you use this specific sonar, you're going to get pinged on the map where you're generally at. So if you ping a ship and you're trying to get those torpedoes to go there, the enemy kind of has a general idea of where you're at already. So the error in the submarines is not going to be an indefinite feature. It's only going to last for not even probably a minute or two.
Right. So
I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that are like, yeah, submarines. I can't stay down below water for very long. And once that submarine comes up there at periscope depth or so, and it just has a little bit of tip there, guess what? High explosives can actually do damage to you because you're seeing. Yeah. Ships can actually lock onto you and do stuff to you. So, and then on top of that, destroyers and stuff, they're not going to have a necessarily consumable or key that they're going to press when they go over your submarine location. All they have to do is just go over your submarine location. The ship does it for you. Here comes all the depth charges. So I don't think it's going to be detrimentally changes as much as the CV was.
I don't necessarily think it's going to be a detrimental change. I think it's going to be a very funny shift in the game. The meta is going to shift hard. I think that they need to expand what the DD's job is going to be into another class as well, because the DD right now, you are literally pulling him out of the main game and throwing him into a mini game. And I don't necessarily agree with that because you pull him away from the main priorities of that particular game. If it's domination, I got to go cap. I got to go spot. I got to go play around these things. I can't be worried about this submarine that wasn't spotted the entire fucking game that is out in my back line. I have to get this cap because nobody's capped yet.
Yeah.
And then what happens when the DDs are dead? Submarines have free reign, pretty much. I mean, it's not like
nope. Run out of oxygen. They're gonna run out of oxygen.
Well, they can run out of oxygen, but then they pop up and they're within their 6-kilometer detection. The dude stays at 8 the entire game, comes in, goes to periscope depth, drops his torps, turns the fuck around, and goes out. And then what? Can anybody do anything about it? No, that's the problem. This is the problem that I'm having. I think that these depth charges should be on everything.
Then why play submarines if they're on everything?
Why not? Do you have to counter everything? We counter DDs with battleships. We counter DDs with cruisers. We counter cruisers with DDs. I mean, there's a whole lot of counterbalance to this game. I think that it cannot all be on one class. This is what I'm getting at.
You have to have some type of incentive to play the submarines.
Just don't fucking bring them into the game. They're coming anyway. But
go play the Legends. Go play consoles. There's no CVs.
Yeah. Well, there's no CVs, and that that's a whole other thing. Watch out for CVs. Are CVs going to be able to spot the submarines? If they're on the surface, sure.
Yeah.
But if they're at periscope's depth, are they going to be able to spot them? I mean, there's a lot of questions that we just can't answer at this moment, and right. that's the thing. And I'm like, I don't understand why you're going to put this off on DDs. How much more shit can you put on the DD already?
Yeah, and I get these guys. Trust me, I get everybody drops in my channel like literally every day. What can you tell us about submarines?
Yeah, we get that a lot too.
And I'm like, guys, it's when the testing comes out, go play it.
Yeah.
Fuck, I know. I don't have any of that information right now either.
Right. I'm just telling you. I'm just playing devil's advocate here, and I don't really. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be honest, and I've said it last week. I've said it a lot on the channel. I fucking hate submarines. I don't like submarines. I think the whole mentality behind submarines are stupid. I think it's dumb. And this game wasn't based around CVs at all. It was based around these 3 particular ships going in a big circle, and then now you have these 2 outliers throwing shit into that, fucking up that circle. So I don't think that submarines are going to be worth a shit in this game. Period. All right, so that's my honest opinion. On the other hand, we don't know yet. So how is it an educated, honest opinion? No, it's not. It's just a knee-jerk reaction and a knee-jerk feeling. And I'm honest enough to say that, and I'm honest enough to say I hope I'm fucking wrong. I hope that it's fun and engaging, and it actually makes a difference in the game. Is it going to bring people to the game? No. Is it going to push people away from the game? Yeah, not as much as people want to think it is, but yes, it will. Kind of like the CVs. I mean, did they bring people into the game? No. Did they bring people playing that class more? Yes. Did it push a lot of people away? Yes. So it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same thing with submarines. I just want it to be not solely on that DD, because he has so much to do already. And if you have a shitty DD on your team, or you're gonna lose.
They might incorporate some type of mechanic that says if you have 2 submarines and we need a minimum of 4 destroyers, that would be 6 to the amount of team. That would be half the team already there. So it's just. They could implement some type of mechanic saying there's not too many, let's say 1 destroyer and like 2 submarines, then that'd be kind of screwed, right? So there's probably going to be some type of mechanic in the matchmaker that offsets that type of degree of not putting so much pressure on one particular DD or 2 DDs.
Right.
Now, back to your perspective of those outlying particular type of classes. I have a unique perspective of playing the console and also the PC version. Right. So when the console right now does not have the CVs, but I have a lot of people that come in that say can't wait for these carriers to come to consoles. I'm like, no,
you don't want.
You don't understand. It's going to cause a lot of people to be very mad at CVs, and there's going to be a lot of people that really like to see polarity between it. So I think when the submarines come around, just like you, there's going to be a lot of polarity. That they can't wait for the submarines to come around, but there's some people who are like, yours going to be like, this is going to fuck up everything. So there's going to be people that are going to hate it, and there's going to be people that love it. So yeah,
I don't necessarily think it's going to fuck up everything, but it's definitely going to cause a shift in the. We're going to have to relearn the game again for like the umpteenth time. We're going to have to relearn. Now there's a submarine. Now how the fuck do I play against this as a battleship? Or how do I play against this as a DD? I think that it's such a hard play style. I think probably the most skilled players that I know, I don't know about you, and maybe this is just me talking shit, but I think DDs are probably the most important to the game.
They are. They change the outcome of the map a lot. They weigh a lot on the outcome of the maps. Yes.
Yeah. I can handle having shitty battleship players, but I can't handle having shitty DD players. So I've started to lean more toward playing DDs because I can't trust them to go get camps. I mean, like even something simple as playing around a camp, area of deniability, something. But now they're adding this. They're adding this extra dimension solely to that destroyer player, and a lot of these people can't even manage a camp. How are they going to manage going out there and trying to hunt down this fucking submarine? You see where I'm getting at.
I think there are some cruisers you can actually take a look at. There are some cruisers that have the depth charges.
Well, there's some battleships that have depth charges all over it too.
So there's going to be, just like some ships have AA, some ships have sonar or hydro, others don't. So I think it's just going to be not necessarily consumable, but a particular ship that's going to be categorized. I wouldn't be surprised that when you look at the tech tree line, you might have like a green outline saying something to do counters submarines feature. So when you decide to go down that tech tree, if you want to become like somebody that goes and hunts submarines, this particular cruiser, this particular type of destroyer lines are going to be very effective, and there'll be like some type of marking saying that these have depth charges.
Right. I mean, I would like to see them. I would like to see it if some reason, you know, you get pinged up by a submarine and you got these, you know, the circles come up and the DD goes out there and, you know, he's dropping his you know, depth charges or whatever. But what about something like, say, a Bismarck or a battleship that has hydro? And, you know, why can't he spot that shit too? And why can't he drop it? I think that's what I'm getting at. Why I have this big overriding, not necessarily, I guess we call it a fear or apprehension. I guess that's more of an apt word here. Apprehension about solely putting it on one class, because everybody knows those really shitty players that have been playing the game for such a long time. Everybody knows them, but I'm not going to call anybody out. You know who you are. And you know who I'm talking about. That have played this game since the inception, as long as we have, but they have just been bonehead the entire time. So where I'm going to have to rely on that guy to go hunt this dude down. And then, you know, then we have the lowest common denominator homing torpedo.
What if they, this probably doesn't sound very reality or anything.
Okay.
But if you,
let's say
what if you were a BB, and you know how like some guns are flat cannons for AA, so dual purpose AAs? Imagine if you were to send out depth charges out of your main cannons into a certain area. So, you know, your 16-inch cannons, you know, fill them up with 16-inch depth charges, you know, 5 of them, and shoot them in that particular area, and they just kind of come into a little kind of thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's something. It's something. I think that there is something to be said, though. Do submarines belong in the game? My personal opinion is no. Do I want to see them in the game? No. What about you? Just in general.
I'd like to see the change. So the change in the game is a welcome. So there are people that constantly ask, why are submarines not in this type of ocean warfare games? So I think it's a social pressure from the general population that submarines are going to have to be put in.
Right. So okay. I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, I am a creature of habit. I get to the point where I'm pretty decent at one thing, and then when things change on me, I'm having to relearn it again. It's kind of frustrating. Yeah, you know, that's a normal reaction from a lot of people. How they implement it, and I want to see, and I can't wait till the testing phase comes out there so we can confirm if they're going to be shit, then let them be shit right out of the gate. If they're going to be good, let them be good right out of the gate. I understand the testing phases and how everything works and everything, but let me ask you a question here. Where do you think the player base is going to come from to play the submarines? Are they going to be bad? Let me focus this question down to a better subject here. Are they going to be the battleship players that'll play? Are they going to be the cruiser guys? Or are they going to be the DD guys that swap over to play the DDs? Play the submarines?
So you're going to have a little bit of everything. But I wouldn't be surprised if it'd be the carriers. The guys that are playing the carriers right now do something else other than being a water ship. On surface ship, they would want to be maybe a sneaky boat. So they actually do the submarines.
I have the complete opposite opinion. I think it's going to pull from the DD pool.
Think so?
Yeah. Battleships are going to be battleships. Cruisers will only play cruisers majority of the time. I think that the guys that will experiment more will be the destroyer people, because they have to be extremely flexible in everything that they do. Because if they're not, then they're just kind of hung out to dry a majority of the time.
I wouldn't be surprised to be the Japanese, primarily Japanese DD. It's the ones that like to be stealth.
Now, obviously, everybody's going to play these. All types of players are going to play these, but I think it's going to hurt the destroyer pool more. The good destroyer players will probably spend more time in the submarines than the bad destroyer players will. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to pull from there more than anything else. But all right, so let's go back in. Speaking of Japanese destroyers, Udachi has recently come out for a couple of bucks. What can I say about the Udachi? Now I know hyf1re, you were here, you were playing the game back in the day when Shiriatsuyu first came out.
Yeah, the split.
Yeah, the line split, and Shiriatsuyu had smoke and hydro. All right, I'm sorry, smoke and torpedo reloader.
Yeah, smoke, torpedo reloader, and the speed boost. No, wait, no, they didn't have the speed boost. So I think they just had the smoke and then the reload rate. But apparently, the Shiriatsuyu was overpowered.
It was too strong, so they brought it back.
Away.
But that's okay because 2 years ago this boat would have been overpowered. From some of the feedback from some of the discords that I'm in, that this is a good boat for 2017.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? 2 years ago. This is 2 years ago. This boat is fantastic for that.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I don't think that this boat doesn't really fit too much into the meta today. I don't really get it. 15 kilometer torpedoes with a torpedo reloader, but they're spotted from the moon like the 20 kilometer Shimakaze torps. You have a 6.1 kilometer detection. For Tier 7, that's fantastic. When you're talking about things like some of the highly touted boats at Tier 7, the Sims at 6.6, and then you have, of course, the Hydia with that 5 kilometer, 5.7, I believe, somewhere around there. And so it fits. The detectability is on this thing is really good. Let me tell you what I've been doing with this boat to make it comfortable for me to play.
Yeah.
Expert marksman.
Yeah.
Typical Japanese 127 guns. You have 5 of them. You have two by 2s and then 1 by 1. So you have a 1-gun turret right in the middle. Guns hit like a truck, but yeah, they do. With the initial phase and the couple of games that I've played since it's actually been released, I felt pretty useless without my torpedoes. So I've kind of adjusted my captain skills and manipulated my captain skills to make it to where I didn't feel useless the entire time.
I would agree. My Shiriatsu captain was set up to be a semi more gunboat than it is a torpedo boat because I found myself doing other things, waiting. Udachi. Sorry, yeah. We're doing other things than waiting for torpedoes or a torpedo reload. So frequently would pop up a smoke, maybe light up a ship on fire here or there, harass things, then waiting for torpedoes. So it wasn't quite explicitly for a torpedo boat. I did a lot of gunboat things too. They do hit. It's just a really
weird boat. Now, for when we're talking about rank seasons or whatever, you'll probably see a few of them. It won't be very popular with the upper echelon of players, with those Tier 1 and Tier 2 players. It won't be very popular with that because of that high visibility amount of torpedoes. But I think that if somebody buys this boat, and do I recommend it? Would you recommend this boat just right now? Would you recommend this boat? People to spend $30.
If you have fun playing the Shiriatsu, and if you enjoy the Shiriatsu's type of gameplay with a little bit longer range of torpedoes, but slower torpedoes, then yes. However, like I said, it's got its drawbacks on there, so it's a 50-50 for me.
Yeah, I recommend this one, and the reason I recommend this boat is because it's such a niche boat. But if somebody can get in there and work out how it actually works for them, and can be very consistent in this boat and just learn how to play this boat, this thing is going to be nasty for Tier 7. It's going to be a random superstar, but it will not do very much in ranked.
Think about the timing. The ranked season is coming up, and it's sprint.
Yeah, well, it's on right now.
It's Tier 7. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so just released. Ranked Tier 7 come out. Hey,
here you go. Here's your Admiral pack. Go play your sprint. Yeah, I mean, Wargaming's not stupid. Wargaming's not stupid, man. Wargaming's not stupid at all. I do enjoy this boat. The torpedoes hit pretty good. I was pretty impressed when they actually did hit. I hit three torpedoes on a full health battleship and took him down within 10,000 of his damage. To kill him, it was really, really nasty what I was doing to this guy. I felt kind of bad But then again, he would have fucked me up if I'd had let him have a chance. So,
Right.
he would have done it to me. So overall, I think the Udachis are pretty solid. I gave it a 6.5 on my review.
I use the torpedoes for more of denial, area of denial.
Perfect.
So if you had like a particular capture point that's like very close to being contested, send a pair of torpedoes, send another pair of torpedoes, and all of a sudden you got like, okay, we're staying away from a bunch of terrible wire.
Yeah, forcing people to move. I think that's something that a lot of destroyer players miss out on mentally when they're playing DDs. Is that number one, never count on your torpedoes ever. Never count on your torpedoes. So you'll have games where you have 150,000+ damage because you hit 6 or 7 torpedoes, and then you've missed none. You hit no torpedoes, and you only got $5,000. But then you've capped, and you've kept them spotted, and you've thrown out your torpedoes, and you've kept them away from you, and now you've had that cap for the entire game.
Yeah,
and that's how you get. That's how you get your points. And some of these games that I have 5,000 damage in, say, the Conqueror or something, I'm probably a little bit happier because I have played very smart. I only shot my guns when I knew I could kill the guy. I only have 800 points to show for it.
There's a counter you can turn on too in the top right hand corner. There's a damage counter and there's a spotting counter. So if you're sitting out there and you're spotting enemies and people are shooting at targets, you'll have that counter continuously progressively go up. Right now, it doesn't give you much of experience on there, but I'm pretty sure at some point or another they might change that. But you can tell if you're doing your job pretty much as a DD is if that counter continues to go up. That means your team is firing at targets that you are spotting them. Otherwise, it wouldn't be spotted.
Yeah, I think this fits right in there. Did you ever play the Yuki Kazi? It was a Azure Lane boat, Tier 8 Kagero clone with 5.4 kilometer detection with 8 kilometer torpedoes, 71 knot torpedoes or 70 something knot torpedoes that hit for 23,000.
Wow. Okay. Maybe I don't think I ever picked it up.
It's in. It should be in your port. You've been a community contributor longer than me. It should be in your port somewhere.
It probably is.
I recommend you going in there and practicing this boat. Okay. I recommend 5.4 kilometer detection. It's got the Conqueror guns, so the guns are good. Torpedoes, they're kind of reload a little slow, but when they hit, 23,000 damage. I mean, come on, that's pretty impressive. And I haven't seen very many of them in there, but they are short range, so they're only 8 kilometers. So it's a very risk reward type of boat, but this kind of reminds me of that boat. Torpedoes hit pretty good. They are spotted. It is a very risk-reward boat, and you can do some pretty good things. I think that is expert marksman necessary. It was for me. I think people need to go out and play this boat, and I'd like to see some more of these in there.
Yep. Yeah. Shout-outs to Epic Rebel Soldier there, Facebook streamer, hanging out in the chat.
There you go.
Have a good night, man.
See you later, man. So Mogador Kleber coming out now, finally fully researchable. Mogador is fantastic. Absolutely love the Mogador. During the Rogue Wave event, the Rumble was my boat of choice, and that was the Kleber clone. Absolutely had a blast just outmaneuvering people, and it was me versus that guy. Yeah. And when it worked, oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. I
used the Mogador to rank out with it. Finally, when they switched over, they put that Philippe captain in there, that Philippe captain made the Mogador more an incentive to play with the captain because you got bonus for actually doing capture points and then taking damage or so. So I used it.
I've watched some really high profile players that I wouldn't expect this from. We're playing on Trapped, and we're on the top side of Trapped, and he goes in to sea with his Mogador, but he sits outside of the cap and waits. Yeah, and I'm like, get into the cap. What are you doing? You're not that dumb. You're smarter than that. Get into that cap. Ambushing. And I'm what are you doing? And he's sitting out there in the middle, but not going into the cap. And I'm like, wow, that's a pretty dumb move. Get these caps, guys. I mean, go. You're fast enough to get in there. See, here's the thing. I think a lot of people misunderstand about the Mogador and the Kleber. You can get out to that cap before anybody's there, and you can get that cap 3/4 fucking cap before they even show up to spot you.
Yeah,
I'm like,
but if they're waiting outside the cap, I know what they're doing is they're ambushing.
Yeah,
they're waiting for them to actually confirm that they're actually there, and then when they come in, they're smashing them.
Yeah, but that's all well and good, but you want to get shot at in this Mogador. You want to get shot at in the Kleber.
Yeah.
So why play that? I just don't get it. I just don't get it when you put your boat facing outside. And I think a lot of people they want to play this like the kebab and the trash can, which are just, on the outside in high volley fire all the time, boom, 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 boom. I don't think that you can do this, but I think that you're missing out on a whole nother level of gameplay in the French boats if you're not contesting those caps, because you shit on DDs.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, get out there and play those. If you guys haven't done it yet, go get them. They're fantastic. I think the rest of the line's kind of bleh until you hit Tier 9. I did not like Tier 7 at all. The gun speed is too slow for me. 700 meters per second is really shitty. Then you move into Tier 8 where it gets a little bit better.
Fantastic.
But
the Tier 8 description of it is perfect. Fantastic.
I think it's a fantastic turret, but I mean, it's a personal preference. Now the boats are fine, and they do fine at Tier 2 and 3. Tier 4 is fine. Tier 5 is good for Tier 5. If you get up tiered, it's kind of shit. Same thing with Tier 6. 7 is just a fucking shit show. 8 falls into that category of I'm a gunboat. I am designated as a gunboat, but I only have one gun per turret, so I struggle with those boats. You have to do extreme amount of things on your own, just like the Italian birds. You're going to have to do it by yourself because you're not going to get much help. So Minsk, I can't stand it. I hate it. I can't stand playing that boat. Podviatsky is the same category. They're single quote unquote gunboats, single turret gunboats that just frustrate the shit out of me. So when you go in, there's more margin for error with the Tier 9 and Tier 10 with having the double gun turrets, and I think that those end up being where I lean to more.
On top of that too, the fantastic is where you start to get the Tier 10 carriers too.
Yeah.
Because they're Tier 8.
Yeah, well, fuck that. Yeah, these things don't do well with carriers at all.
No.
Although of all the boats out there, and you guys have heard it, CVs, just DDs, blah blah blah, just dodge. You can actually just dodge in these.
Yeah.
So I think that it's interesting. It's been an interesting dynamic coming out to the last couple of patches. French guys coming out, now the Italian birds coming out. We haven't talked about it yet, but I'm sure we'll get into it. Overpoweredness of the DACA and just the pure unadulterated fire spam that's been going on in the game since even when the Minotaur released, they had HE on it during the testing phase, and they said it was too strong. But then they turn around and they give us the Worcester, and they give us the Worcester's fucking strong. I mean, the Smolensk, the Colbert. And a lot of the guys are saying, and the spreadsheet Angel has said that because it has 35,000 hit points, that it's balanced.
Okay, it's one of those ships it's polarized again. It's a ship that you have somewhat fun playing it, but you absolutely hate going against it.
Yeah, it's a very mentally distressing boat to play against.
Yeah,
and Harry Gumbo, Kitakaze, Akizuki, all of these things, all of these things have had this really, really super high fire rate and a really high fire chance. And that's fine if that's the way you want to take the game. But then you have to give something that we can counter that with, and that's something that leads us back into the battleships. Battleships can't counter that firepower.
No.
And I think that they need to take a good look. With the IFHE change coming, hopefully that'll fix some of it. But if it doesn't fix, which if you guys don't know what the IFHE changed, they're lowering 50%. You're taking a 50% fire chance hit when you take IFHE on some of these cruisers now. And I'm hoping that fixes some of it to make it a little bit more fair for battleships, because battleships on fire 11 times a game, it's ridiculous. And you know
Yes.
it. You've played them. You've been on fire 3 times. You hit your button, and you're immediately on fire another 3 times, and there's nothing that you could do about it. And most of the cruiser guys that you're going to sit there and they're going to be like, oh, well, you got that many hit points. How am I supposed to do it? You guys shit all over me. I was like, can we though? Are we shitting on you when you go broadside and I can only punish you at fucking, with over pins from 10 kilometers? Is that really punishing to you? No, it's not. So. We'll just quell that fucking cruiser uprising. Oh, I can't believe you're a battleship crybaby. No, I want it to be fair, and right now it's a little bit out of control. I hope that they look at it, and I hope that this does address some of that. And if not, then they need to look at fire prevention being more than 10%.
Or just make 15 or even 20, or reduce the fire.
I'm going to ask you. You know what? Here you go.
4.
I'm going to ask for 40%, but I'm going to settle for 25.
All right.
I'll settle for 25.
Yeah, 25 sounds good.
But they did say that they were done with the DACA for a while, with the DACA boats. So that's good news. We'll see. Well, of course, we'll see. So here's hoping for the Slava. I'm ready for that boat to come out already.
Okay.
You don't like that one?
It's just like taking the Kremlin but putting sniper rifles on it. So
I'm down with that.
One of those.
How many?
Be one of those ships that's like it's going to be borderline. People are going to like it. Borderline. People aren't going to like it.
It's going to be very polarizing as well.
Yeah.
I think that in this meta that we have with the Hindenburg, with the Zows, with the Henrys, with the new Italian birds coming out, but they're only going to stay at 18, 20 kilometers. You need something to punish them for doing that.
So you think the snipers, the Slava,
I think, yeah. Well, I mean, I've heard some pushback from, not necessarily pushback, from some opinions from some other community contributors saying that this is promoting a standoffish style of play, and I'm like, that's basically what the cruisers are doing the entire game now. Is they're standing off, letting their fire do the work. So I'm like, why? It's not going to push anybody further away. It's not going to push a camping mentality. Let me tell you something. Let's take a step back into a couple of years ago. Hi-Fire, go with me on this little trip. You ready to go with me on this little trip?
Sure.
All right, guys, there we are. We're back in. We're on a little time machine. We're going to go back 2 years. We're going to go back 2 years where the play style was nothing but bow in North Carolinas at Tyranny.
Oh, yeah.
Bow in North Carolinas. What did they do to counter that? Camping, bow in, behind islands, camping battleships. What did they do? They bring out the UK battleships to counter that. And they did a good job at countering it. But guess what happened, Hi-Fire? The player base said, I don't give a shit. I want to fucking camp, and I'm going to find a way to camp. So no matter what they have done by changing this meta, people are going to find a way to fucking camp. You see it today. You see it 2 years ago. People are going to camp if they want to fucking camp. Battleships, cruisers, destroyers behind islands doing nothing, not spotting. I think the Slava's perfect for this game right now because people are going to find a way to camp no matter what they do. People are going to find a way to be less effective. And I think that punishing these cruisers out there from long range, because I have no recourse, because they can maneuver out of my shit, and when I can actually finally hit somebody, I get to punish them. Putting battleships back on top, I think is the right way because they are the quote-unquote alphas of this era until, CVs. I think that this is a good, this starts a long way, and I think that what they have in the Russian battleships at 12 kilometers, having that accuracy, they need to adapt to every other fucking battleship in the game. Not just at 12 kilometers, but range it. You want to be effective in the German battleships? Fine, we're going to give you an accuracy buff at 8 kilometers. We're going to give you an accuracy buff at 12 kilometers for the Americans, or 15 kilometers for the IJN. We're going to give you an accuracy buff. That'll encourage people to get in there, because what do you see? What do you see with the Russian battleships? Bow in, 12 kilometers, knocking ever loving living shit out of people.
Mm-hmm.
You want to really encourage people to push in. Quit getting out to all them DACA spams. And give them an accuracy buff. Give them a reason to go in there. The only reason you see Kremlin's at 12 kilometers is because they get their accuracy buff at 12.
All right. Fair enough.
He had nothing to say about it. What do you think? Well,
your bow-in time machine actually just went back to basically what we have on consoles right now.
yeah.
Iowa's is a tier 7, and all they do is they reverse at the beginning of the match.
Absolutely.
They're like the Yamatos right now. They just reverse,
Yep.
and they shoot everything at range.
Yep.
I'm guilty of it because
it's the best way to play it.
I play it, I sit there, and I'm like, yeah, I know this feature of this particular ship. I'm going to bow and just reverse, and sure enough, everything comes at you. It's like, yeah, I can bow it. I can tank it just fine. Your time machine literally just went back to console.
Yeah, exactly. The whole point of it was people are going to camp, no matter what they do, no matter what kind of ship that they put in there. But you got to give people a reason to want to push. And right now, there's no reason for people to want to push. I mean, if you go in there, I was playing a game last night. I needed to make a push, so I made a push. And it was a calculated push, and did it work out for me? I did what I wanted to do, and I died. I knew I was going to die when I was going in there. But these guys are camping, and they're waiting for you to move into that position. And when you move into a position where there's 6 motherfuckers there that you may or may not have seen, you're dead. Period. Yeah. When you cannot do anything about 6 fucking people shooting at you.
Yep.
So what do you do? Where do you go?
No, I think you have the right idea there. Punish the cruisers that are trying to kite you all the way out there, and continue the HE spam or whatnot. Get the snipers out there, and then once the snipers start taking care of those cruisers, then the cruisers are going to start to realize that, hey, I need to take cover again.
Yep, and then it's going to push them. I mean, it's such an interesting circle of events that has happened over the last couple of years. We have this bow-in mentality. Now there's hyf1re, which I still think was a mistake. They should never have brought it in, which ended up doing a whole nother thing. And then you have the island humper mentality where they're going to sit there and they're going to wait. And the people like Small Links, Colbert, dude, you will sit behind that fucking island the entire game just waiting for one motherfucker to come in. You're basically fishing the entire time. Basically, literally, you are fishing the entire time. You're sitting behind that island, waiting for that fucking Colorado, especially in the Atlanta, waiting for that fucking Colorado to come into your fucking 13-kilometer range, and then you hold that button down. And if he slops and backs up, he's fucked. If he keeps going, then fine. I don't care. If he's going to push you, guess what? I have torpedoes that I can defend myself with if they want to push around that corner. But I am not moving out of that fucking island if I don't fucking have to. People are going to camp. You're going to camp. People are going to fucking camp. Doesn't matter what Wargaming wants to do. It doesn't matter how much people bitch about it. People are going to fucking camp if they want to camp. So give us a boat that'll actually, promote some of that shit. People are going to camp no matter what. So there you go. Bring out the Slava already, man. That thing can't come out fast enough, man. After playing that thing and dropping, there's something about the Slava 16-inch guns. If you guys don't know this one, Russian battleship, 16-inch guns, tier 10. Any angles, it kind of reacts like the 15-inch guns. But if you're broadside, it fucking punishes the shit out of you with that plunging fire. It's fucking nasty. And I loved playing that thing. So, what can you do? Where do you go? Behind the island and camp. We got new camos coming out for the Bismarck, the Cossack, and the Ark Royal, which is another boat that just came out, the Ark Royal. Thoughts on that one?
I haven't tried out the Ark Royal, but I've seen a friend of mine, Armor Guppy, was playing earlier today, so he was dominating in it. So something, if you're interested in tier 6 carriers, we'll get it.
Tier 6 carriers with tier 4 or 5 planes going up against tier 8s doesn't seem too very fun.
They're kind of slow. They're kind of slow on it, but they seem to be doing okay.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. I'm sorry. I know it's not. I'm not trying to be a negative on this, but tier 4 and 5 planes at tier 6 going up against tier 8 AA. I'm sorry, but that's a little bit dumb. That's a little bit too much of a negative. Same thing with the Kaga going up in tier 10. That's a little bit too much of a negative with having tier 6 planes. I think it's a novel idea, but you got to cap it out. You can't do that. And I think it solves a problem with having 5, 7, and 9 in there. You're seeing a lot of tier 8s up into tier 10, but if you had those back, then it would kind of shift the matchmaking to where it was a little bit more balanced for people.
Gotcha.
I think that's the only thing that they have to change is bring back those other carriers.
So, since it's released, though, I haven't actually tested much of it, or haven't played much of the Ark Royal.
Yeah, I did the testing phase a couple of times, and I just like I skipped the last testing phase. I was like, I don't care. It's a CV. Who gives a shit?
However, I did get that cat camouflage for the Bismarck.
Oh yeah,
Bismarck. The German battleship was mine that actually had reset. So when that came out, you get a Bismarck researched or get a Bismarck when you do this stuff. I was like, cool.
No,
and then
nice.
I got it there. I'm like, oh, I don't have to play this ship. I mean, I don't have to go and research the ship again.
Done.
So then I just put the cat camouflage on there with the CoOp and got the research points off it, everything else. I'm like, oh, cool.
All right. On to tier 9. Let's go. There you go. Yeah. Let's see. Let me see what I wrote down here. I wrote down some more. Rank sprints are up for Tier 7, September 16th through the 28th, which was yesterday. 6v6, 7v7 on Trident, Arpeggio, Big Race, Riposte, and it's a 3-point domination. Typical Tier 7. Arpeggio is a little bit small, I think, to have for a ranked game, especially at this high tier. If you're doing it Tier 5, fine. But at tier 7, you're literally shooting across the board. So I mean,
someone had mentioned in here that they were just played a few rounds of ranked and showing a bunch of ships and stuff that are just staying in the back, camping, and not even actually capping points and stuff like that. So crossing between what you were talking about camping and then the ranked season starting up to Tier 7s, you're going to see a lot of send-ups. You're going to see a lot of Belfasts out there, the usuals. You're going to a few of the docket ships.
You know what I want to see? You know what I want to see in this? I want to see more Colorados out there. Let me tell you why. I ranked out in the Colorado twice during the last Tier 7 rank season, and it absolutely shits on the bow of that sign-up. The Nelson and the Colorado both shit on that bow of that sign-up. 16-inch guns overmatch it, which is fantastic. So don't sleep on that. Well, you probably sleep trying to get to where you're going in the Colorado, but that's another story. October the 2nd through October the 14th, Tier 8 rank sprint 7v7 with CVs. You have Grease, Hotspot, Sea of Fortune, and Shards 3-point domination.
Oh boy!
So Low Yang's my choice there. Low Yang or the Cossack, probably the Low Yang because of the bigger hydro.
You're going to see a lot of Enterprises. Something happened with their stats or whatnot on last patches.
They took it out of the shop.
Yeah.
It was strong.
Yep. So you're probably going to see a lot of Enterprises for the strong carrier on the Tier 8. So you're going to see a lot of masses. Yeah. That's about it. And Low Yangs, yeah.
I think the Low Yang is going to be my boat of choice. This last rank season at Tier 9, my boat of choice was 46. I like the hydro playstyle and ranked out 92 games, 94 games.
Although I have been having a lot of success using the Cossack in clan battles.
Cossack is a Tier 8 British DV. British
starter. And it has the acceleration rate and the slowdown rate are really good at dodging cruiser shells. So if you get into engagement and you're just going back and forth kiting people, that Cossack, you just go up a little bit, stop, turn, go up a little bit, stop, turn. The next thing people are just flying over you, behind you, everywhere. So they can't hit it.
Let's talk about the guns on those things. That thing is nasty with its guns. You got quad turrets. You got 4 turrets, two guns apiece. Not as there's no 360 like you do on the Lightning, or whatever the Tier 8 is. 360. There's a 360 rear turret on the Lightning.
They do. The Cossack does.
No, it's got standard turrets. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Cossack 2018 release. One of my 2 best things that they ever did in 2018. Boise Nuevo de Julio #1, Cossack #2. Way at the bottom of the list of the Massachusetts because fuck that thing. I like to call it the Deuceachusetts, but that's another story. Clan Brawl. It says a 3 versus 3. September the 21st, 3 versus 3, Tier 7 ships. 15-minute games. Clan Brawl number 4. Clan Brawl number 3 is on September the 21st. 15-minute games. Tier 7. And then we have Clan Brawl number 4 on October the 5th. 3 versus 3, Tier 10 games, 15-minute games.
I don't think our clan. I don't think even played in the first or second one. So
let me wait. It gets
Sorry,
better.
go ahead.
It gets better. You have Hotspot, Mountain Range, Shatter, Warrior's Path. That's all domination. But then you have something, hyf1re, that I want you to get stoked about, and I want you to charge everybody in your stream $5 when they say Two Brothers Epicenter. Two Brothers Epicenter coming to Clan Brawl October the 5th. I fucking love Two Brothers. This is one of my favorite maps. $5 will go up the middle. All that $5 that people have dropped on me has trained me how to play that goddamn middle cap. I love playing this boat. I love playing this game in the middle on Two Brothers. It's such a particular play style, and if somebody can do it well, it works really well.
Wow.
What Two Brothers Epicenter, man? What is that? What is that knee-jerk reaction for you?
I don't know. I mean, literally, it's going to be the only warfare I see is going to be in the middle. There's going to be like maybe one ship that might try to attempt to go about it, but
I haven't seen the map. I haven't seen the circles on the map or anything like that, so I don't know how big the circle is.
They could be gigantic.
Who doesn't matter? That's amazing, man. I thought I heard this and I was like, they're fucking listening. Not only that, but I want to see, not the new one, what's the new map that they just they just remade it. They just remade the map that was good, and then they turned it into a shitstorm. Was it Shards?
Oh, Shards?
Shards. Then they just remake Shards. It was a tier 7, tier 8 map.
I know Trident they put into Epicenter. They actually did pretty well with it.
Well, yeah, the Trident's been around. A number one, I hate Shatter. Whatever. What's the map that has the 9 entrances into B that going around? Is that Shatter? I think it's Shatter, but I would like to see Epicenter on that map. I would like to see Ocean with Epicenter. I would like to bring Epicenter in. Now, a lot of people don't like Epicenter, and let me tell you why. hyf1re. Motherfuckers are going to want to camp, and you can't camp and win that fucking game. So it pulls people out of their comfort zones and forces them to do something that they're not used to, and they fucking hate the change, which we've already explained.
Yep.
But I'm ready for it, man. Give it to me. They won't push at all. They just camp. They're going to camp and let the game go. Well, there you go, boys. That's all the news. That was a long fucking news segment, dude. There was a lot of shit. There was a lot of shit. So, hyf1re, tell us, hyf1re. What do you think? What do you think of the mentality of the player base now? From all of your experience, playing from the very beginning of when were you an alpha tester, beta tester, anything like that?
Well, you did kind of touch up on the amount of content that's being released on. So not just for us community contributors being somewhat of a experience, and I wouldn't say burnout, but putting a lot of these things over on top of each other, pancaking the features and stuff on top of content releases, and also with the new tech line trees coming in all at once. I can understand if some of the player base feels a little overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the words of Wargame says, too much content's never, too much content's not a thing. So, anyhow,
I think too much content's not a problem. I think it's not a
problem.
For us as testers, it's pretty overwhelming at times.
It is.
When you have 10 ships to do this week and then 10 ships to do next week plus premiums. So I mean, I've had a few people that play the game just as long as I have that basically up until this last update for the birthday were like, I'm done. I'm stepping away for a bit. I'm just so I don't know if they were tired of the mentality of the game or where they're going kind of thing. But now I felt like it was kind of running down, and then the birthday came up and it was like all of a sudden people started getting interested again. So now they're like they have an incentive to come back. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that is going to come back again after a certain amount of time, but I can understand.
I think it will, man. Let me ask you this. You've been playing for a long time, right? We've talked about that at the beginning of the podcast. What keeps you playing?
It's more like the players. The players. I remember I'm a streamer.
Yeah.
So when a lot of people come into my channel and they observe what I do and the positioning and what strategies that I use for my cruisers, and I constantly every day have someone come in that says, "Dude, I learned so much from you," and I'm like, I'm up my game and everything on there. So what I kind of try to do now is that I know a lot of these strats. What can I do to tweak it to make it unconventional?
Right. Change it up.
And then so yeah, when I make it unconventional, then it's all of a sudden stuff just works, and I'm like, I'm having a blast again. So the research bureau stuff is a good idea. What they kind of came up with is it does allow me to come back to some of the ships that are like, oh my god, now I remember why I'd never play the ship again.
Right.
So
Omaha.
going through those lines, it's like you kind of re-experience that. But then again, now it's like, with the Ohio released with those, it kind of feels like, well, I can just skip the Colbert altogether and now have another incentive to do that all over again. So, but also remember, I'm a community contributor now for PlayStation or the consoles, so I have that aspect going at the same time. So,
and that's a whole nother gameplay. That's a whole different play style. I mean, you can take the same mentalities that you have here with the PC version and take it over to the console, and you'll do very well. But it's completely different captain build setups that you can really boost some fire chance. You can really boost the fire prevention on those things, man. It's pretty ridiculous. Some of the things that you can get away with in that console, and I it's totally different dynamic, I think.
I'm also a full-time content creator too.
Yeah.
So it's like I wouldn't say I'm anchored down to it, but this is my content.
Yeah.
So if people want to know how to play a certain ship, or if they want to do better at it, I'll show them. So it's there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, some of the things that I've said in the past, what's keeping me playing, number one, the entire community that, we've built this channel here, where twitch.tv/servantofyk. We've built this community together, and we've kind of seen it go from being streaming for 2 years and then moving into World of Warships and growing it to where we are today. And the one thing that has remained the same over the last 3.5 years that I've played 14,000 plus battles and randoms, no two games have ever been the same.
Oh yeah.
I think that they have done a pretty decent job of RNG fuckery. To where you'll have one game that you're absolutely spot on, and then the next game, let's take the Amagi for example. One game you're absolutely spot on, the next game you're making the same shots against the same boats, and you can't hit the broadside of a barn even if you were inside. Yep. I mean, and that's the RNG fuckery that I'm talking about. Yep. And it's like, got to play one more because there's always that. Oh my God! I just shit on that dude for $60,000. Fuck you, bro. There's always that thing lurking in your mind. I hit 7 torpedoes on this guy, or 195,000 damage with a freaking Monahan. There's always that possibility every time you go out. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest reason why I've continued to play as long as I have. That and $5 up the middle on Two Brothers. Guys are hanging out with my man hyf1re. You guys can hit him up over on his Facebook, fb.gg hyf1re, and then at hyf1re over on the Twitter. Of course, you guys can hit me up at sir_venom_ik, or if you guys want to have a live conversation with us here at any time that we stream, twitch.tv/servenomik. Come on over. So, being the only community contributor that I know of streaming over on Facebook, there's 2 of them. Who's the other guy?
Level Cap.
I had never heard of him.
You did a lot of Battlefield videos on YouTube. So he did a lot of Battlefield, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos for Battlefield series. So he has a relatively large YouTube channel. I found him because over on Facebook you can do what's called chaining. So it's basically hosting another person that's playing the game
Fair
too.
Enough.
So I found him and went, Level Cap. Who's this? Click on it. Like, oh, this guy has a pretty big YouTube channel and stuff. Yeah. He was playing World of Warships. So I gave him a lot of advice on it, and he reached out to the community, ours, and then now he's a community contributor. So do I still have to kind of teach them some things. I do. But
Yeah.
I am no longer the only community contributor.
Well, there you go. You had that beautiful distinction, and now it's gone. You're not special anymore, hyf1re.
Nope,
But you're
not
special in my
anymore.
heart, my friend. So, how's life over on Facebook, man?
Dude,
how's
there's
the
been
community? What are we talking about? Like, you know, you pulling like 9 million people or what? I mean, what are we talking here?
well, I'm up to 4,200 followers now, and it seems to be going up about 100 so. That's just my channel
week.
alone.
Right.
Yeah, Salt Miner is another streamer. He's been doing Facebook gaming. He's about to approach I think maybe 1,000 followers pretty soon. It's getting up there. Star Force Gaming as well is getting quite a few followers. Armor Guppy has returned. He said he was maybe thinking about not streaming World of Warships anymore, but he has come back around and he's getting it back. Today alone, when I was doing, I'll admit that I was doing the console.
Right.
So I was doing the console version on it, and I had somewhere 58 to 60 peak of consecutive viewers at one
that's
time.
Not bad. Yeah.
No
it's
idea
really
where
nice.
they're coming from. But I asked them, like right in the middle of that, I'm like, where are you guys watching from? UK, Belgium, Melbourne, places I've never heard of, all over the United States. I'm like, they're just, the reach is just so much more larger around the world. On it. I have people that are coming in with Cyrillic alphabets. I've got people coming in with Thai, Japanese, all over the place. They're just watching the channels and stuff, and they continuously watch my channel. They say that it's great, and I continue doing it.
There you go.
So, like I said, Level Cap, he has a large YouTube channel, so that's where he gets most of his audience from. But he live streams on Facebook as well. I have a charity stream. I don't know if I'm supposed to announce it, but
you know, fucking promote your shit, man. That's what you're here for.
You know who Stack Up is, right?
Yeah, I've heard of Stack Up. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're gonna be doing a campaign on Facebook Gaming. Hello. I'll be doing it.
Yeah, you're gonna probably do it, or you gonna do it days or anything?
I've signed up for it, so yeah.
There you go. Stack up, guys. Go donate some money. Maybe he'll go up the middle on Two Brothers.
I don't want to pull anybody from Twitch. You guys stay. You guys are fine. You guys are doing. If you guys established everything, go at it. Keep doing what you're doing. Just saying, there's other alternatives out there.
Oh, absolutely. We were talking. I was talking with. Well, this isn't really about chips, but anyway, I was talking with a guy earlier today. He was like, "Yeah, I'm really thinking about making the switch over to Mixer, or going over to YouTube or Facebook." And I'm like, "Wait, how long have you been on Twitch?" He's like, "Oh, a couple of years." I was like, "Why would you want to start over?" I think that's a lot of things. Like, why would you want to start over? Well, it's not working here. And I'm like, well, if it's not working here, change what you're doing, or it won't work over there. So why, keep beating the dead horse? And and it's like, I think that with your particular skill set and your demeanor, I think it's great, and I'm fucking very happy that you're finding success over on the Facebook. And I wish you all the best. So I'd like to see you back over here on Twitch, because then I can help as much as I can. But I am very happy that you found a place that you're comfortable with, and I think that's a lot of it.
So when you're telling me I'm using OBS, right? But a lot of my are still active on my OBS.
Do what?
So
your alerts.
Yeah. So I'm like, dude,
wait, somebody's following my channel. That's right, guys. Keep following his channel. Let's fuck him up for the rest of the podcast here. Guys,
remember the reason why I switched over from Twitch, because it was like I wasn't happy or anything. That is that I saw a few prominent streamers that I know that I followed moved over to Facebook, but they were offered some type of contract, to move them over on that. So they had some kind of like subsidized income or so with them to get them established.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went over there to check to see if there's anybody streaming World of Warships, there was none. There was absolutely no presence there for World of Warships.
That's a good idea. Put yourself in that.
I went over there last year in April, and then now we have all kinds of World of Warships streaming going on.
That's great. That's great. To me, this means World of Warships is going up, and I bet people are nicer too over there, right, in the chat, because they're using their real names most of the time.
Yeah, 90% of the time, yeah. They're still got those little fools and stuff that come in there, whatnot. Think they're all badass.
A couple of trolls. Yeah. Trolls are everywhere. All right, boys. I don't really have a main topic today. We were talking about the patch. We've talked about the submarines. We've talked about a little bit about carriers. We've talked about the new ships, hyf1re. Is there anything? I'm gonna open this up to you, and I didn't ask you this, and I should have. But is there anything important to the game right now that you think people need to be aware about?
Important to the game that needs to be aware about.
Anything important to you? Let's put it that way. Anything that you find that people don't really pay attention to that you think that they need to pay attention to. Quit bitching about all this other shit and look at what's wrong or look at what's right with this game.
I mean, as far as mechanics and that kind of thing, I think they still need to improve the type of different type of game modes. So from standard, domination, epicenter, I think they still need to work on some other type of way. I think they're working on convoy or some type of other type of game mode for that. I mean, they bring in these things during like Halloween or April Fools, those type of game modes as a concept. But I'd like to see some of those concepts actually get put into the real game itself.
Right.
So they kind of dingle in front of you like, hey, we got a new game mode. They don't quite like that, so they never really put it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then they dangle like Bastion mode in front of you.
We need more scenarios.
All right, so yeah, absolutely, I agree with that. Let's expand on that. Scenarios are operations. I think operations are great. What the fuck happened to hard mode? Where the fuck is hard mode?
Yeah, you're right.
Where the hell happened to that?
My clan absolutely loved the operations and the scenario battles. If they would have continued just to have like a team dedicated to creating more scenarios, damn.
Yeah.
We'd be busy every week.
Check this out. I think I have an answer. I have an answer for you. I don't know how much you read of the conversation that I had about CoOp the other day. Anyway, they said that they had to change a couple of things because the bots were too good, and the co-op player base lost 10 to 20% of their fucking win rate. So they had to change it back to dumb down the bots so people can continue to maintain their 90 to 99% win rate. Okay, that is where your fucking hard mode went.
Aha.
They had this beautiful thing to try to help teach people to learn and play better and do different things, but people don't want to adapt. People don't want to change. hyf1re. So that's why we don't have hard mode right now, because they're too accurate. Co-op bots are too accurate, my friend. They can track me when I'm making a turn. Well, when you're making a turn from 4 kilometers, you're an idiot, and you probably should be punished. So, do I have any sympathy for that? I don't know, man. I would like to see a hard mode. Like, what's the hardest operation right now? What's that? The one defenses or something like that?
Something like that.
I
haven't come back to it.
What's the point?
Yeah,
there's no reason. Once you get your
5 stars, yeah,
exactly.
It was like okay.
Yeah. Right. Let's talk about other game modes. Arms race. What the fuck is that? Roll that into fucking random battles already. Holy shit. We've had a ranked season on it. We did a tier 9 ranked arms race season, and it was fantastic and phenomenal, and probably one of my favorite seasons, even though it took me, an extended amount of time to rank out on it. But I enjoyed playing it because it was different. It was different, and I think that they need to go ahead and rotate that into randoms. I think it's fine. I think it's fine where it's at. Yep.
Another thing that comes around and people. How do I get so many signal flags, or how am I going to get so many camouflages or days of premium and stuff? Right. I know being a community contributor, I get some of that stuff, but I don't get all that.
No.
What brought me up from a couple of years when I first started is I actually live streamed the play test server. So the play test server, public test server is what it's called, the PTS. It's just a separate client, and they roll their tests like pretty much 3 weeks in a row before it gets put out to the live server. So when you load up the play test server, there are objectives in there that give you 10 of certain flags or a couple of these certain flags, and then you get camouflages and days premium. You get like a day or 2 premium depending on what you complete on there. And then on top of that, they stack it. So if you played like 1 week, you got those objectives completed. You play the second week, you got those objectives completed. Next thing you know, you got like a week premium because you did all of them.
Yeah.
So just that kind of stuff helps you in the game. On top of that, too, if you want to know how the Yamato play, If you want to know how the Grossa Criffers plays, if you want to know how the Montana plays, but you don't have them on your main account, PTS.
Yep.
Go play the PTS server and play it on.
Go play the test server and save your team some agony.
Yeah.
Going into a rental tier 10 Zao. Oh, it's the first time I play in this boat. Get the fuck out of ranked season.
Yeah. That was oh my god.
Get the fuck out of ranked season, man. I mean, you know, they weren't terrible. I mean, it wasn't whatever. I mean,
I think we had more tryhards we had more serious players in rentals than we think we had.
they were just fucking around. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I totally agree with that. But then, you know, I mean, come on, man. The serious guys aren't going to grow into the captain as now. You know, at the beginning of the game, 4 minutes in. You know, I mean, they're just not going to do that unless there's an opportunity for that, and there was not. So,
yeah,
I don't know. I think that only really affected the lower tiers, the lower levels. I didn't really think it affected the high tiers because that was like tier 11, tier 12. You know, because we started at 13 that season, and then we worked our way through. Once we saw 10, I didn't see too many rentals at 10, and then at 5 there was none. So,
yeah.
It was an interesting thing. Yes, going back to the public test server, they're taking applications currently right now for submarine test server.
Yep.
And I know that I said that I would play them on the test server just to see what they were about. So this will be the first time that I actually jump into a public test server on stream because I don't do test servers. I hate them because the reason I don't like them, hyf1re, maybe you can appreciate this, is because when the content comes out, it's all new, hot, and fresh. Well, if I've played it on the test server, I've already done it, so it's not hot and new and fresh to me anymore. So I don't see the point of it. But some people enjoy that, and plus you can get some pretty decent rewards just for playing it.
So you're saying the test server that we might get access to as CCs would be under NDA, not able to be streamed. To the point when they actually do release it to the public and we are streaming it, you've already played it.
No.
Is that what you mean?
No, absolutely not. No, I can go on the public test server right now, especially with the carriers. When they had the open test for the carriers, you go over there and you play it, and you're like, oh, okay, this is great. This is all new and fresh. And then when it actually releases, you're just like, oh, I've already done this before. This is not fresh. This is not new. I want to experience it with everybody else. Does that make sense? That's the reason. Yeah. And I'm excited. Am I excited to go play the subs on the test server? No. But will I do it? But yes, I said I would. And you know, I'm kind of a stickler for what if I say I'm going to do something, I'm probably going to do it. So I'm going to go do it, and we're going to put it through testing, and we're going to open it up to the chat. All right, what do you guys think I should do next? You know, what do you guys think for these captains? What the hell are they going to do with captain skills for submarines? Guys, that's something nobody's sat there and fucking talked about. What are we going to do with captain skills? We're going to have you got the bubblehead captain skills, so now you can have 3 minutes of underwater action time.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. Right?
And you know what's funny is that we're talking about new game modes, and I know we popped off here on the podcast. We've popped off here on the channel about different things that guys, we're gonna have invisibility coming in, man. We got the little floating little doodad over here, and my God, if they did not put that shit in the fucking game, arms race. They're gonna do it here. The Halloween event's coming up. And there's gonna be invisible ships, bro. You're gonna be able to go invisible.
What? Did they have that there on the Halloween event?
Yeah.
Oh.
Look it up. You're gonna be able to go invisible. You're gonna be able to heal people with shells. I'm gonna shoot my teammate. Yeah, I'm gonna go ping by making him healthy.
We've had that though. There was a particular ship.
I'm gonna put out that dude's fire. Well, this is all stuff that we've talked about before. Yeah. On my streams, I'm sure you've put tinfoil hat theory on together, right? All right. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Are you ready, hyf1re? He's like, I have no idea what we're talking about. But are you ready for this? Tinfoil hat. Put your tinfoil hat on for a while.
All right. Let's do it.
Let's speculate. Let's speculate here on what some random stupid things that you would like to see in the game. Some random stupid things. I think a lot of people out there want more game modes like we've already talked about. I think that quit putting out more content, ship-wise, and give me some more game modes. Dedicate some of that shit to give me some game modes in there to keep it kind of fresh, because randoms are just kind of droll at the mo.
Yeah.
You know, give me that sub convoy where you can either queue up as a destroyer or as a submarine, and you have two different queues to go into a game, and then you have to protect or you have to attack.
Well, so I was just gonna say there was a game mode back in tanks that was like an assault mode, where you had one team that had to guard a base, and the other team had to attack the base. So basically, taking away your camping, just put it on one side of the team.
No, I mean we saw that already.
Else tried it. Yeah,
we've kind of seen that. Oh, with the last iteration of Space Battles and the April Fool's event, you had one team attacking and one team attacking that had respawns. And then you had one team on the defense. So we've kind of seen that.
It was actually pretty decent.
And it was a fun thing.
Fairly fun, yeah.
Why not bring it into the regular game mode? Throw it into fucking randoms. All right, guys, I'm going to take this. We never know what we're going to get, but we're going to adapt and overcome. Because fucking deal with it. Throw that shit in there. That'd be fun. Every once in a while, you got 12 people rolling at one zone.
There was a mode that released for World of Tanks recently too that had 9 map tiles, right? So it was a 3x3, and each individual map had their own game mode. Not game mode, but game like session. And then as you completed that session, you moved into the next part of the map or so. And then the other guys on the other side. So you would have like several different game modes running at that time. And then once you took care of that section, you moved into the next part of the tile. You see something like that happening. It could be like an hour and a half game for World of Warships, though.
It had to be small teams, and it had to be limited to smaller tiers. Because if you're having that small of a map, man, motherfuckers, man, holy shit, dude, are they going to be able to shoot that guy?
And it's the next map over. And the next map over that one.
So you're talking like, okay, so Ocean is next to Hotspot, and you have to do whatever on Ocean, and then you move, and then once you that objective,
Yep.
Oh, that's a fucking great concept.
That's gonna see.
That's a great concept.
Each individual, every 9th tile is a different game mode. So imagine if you had epicenter right in the middle, but then you had shatter down here on the bottom, or trident on the left hand side, and each individual outcome for that ship or that team moved on to the next tile.
I could see this working, actually. I could see.
You have to watch it. You have to watch it in World of Tanks. I don't know what exact game, but that's basically several different maps all stuck together. And then as they completed the objectives or did not complete the objectives on a particular map, they were like, if they got knocked out as a tank or so, you were able to respawn or so to another tile somewhere else.
So you have one guy by himself on another tile if he died early?
I don't know how that works out.
Or so if you die, then they complete the objective within the certain time, you get to respawn in the next tile.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how it works out on the tanks. I'd have to watch it, but it literally is 9 tiles. It's 9 maps, and that they're all combined together. It's crazy.
That's interesting.
It's like one big warfare kind of thing going on.
That'd be pretty dope. I think you'd limit it to, I don't know. You wouldn't limit it to anything. You go into a fucking bastion mode there in the middle of one of them, and that'd be fine. Bring that motherfucker back. You got arms race. You got to collect 12 things while you're getting bombarded by waves of co-op bots. And I swear to God, it's coming this Halloween event, guys. Basically a zombie mode. Where it's you versus a whole bunch of different waves of fucking ships. Also a new mode, 3v3v3v3. Right? Just like we saw at Rogue Wave event. So it was 3 teams of 3.
Yep.
And then a 3 team of AIs. A team of 3 AIs. This is the new game mode for this Halloween event.
I think they have a lot of ideas stuff, and they keep churning them up to keep changing the outcome, keep changing the game. So that's one of the things that keeps me coming back too. Is I kind of want to know, like the new game mode and stuff out there. Kind of check it out. I mean, if most of the time the new game mode within the first couple rounds, maybe even 10 rounds, you'll understand if you're going to like it or if you're not going to like it. So, I mean, at least get 10 rounds in to find out. But one of your viewers here says it's attack, defend, fall back, defend, attack, fall back. So you can see kind of like maps going back and forth for some time. So if you win an objective on one part of the map, then your objective is to defend that part of the map or move on to the next part of the map. So it's kind of strange that you can work on that ships kind of thing, but I'm pretty sure it's not just one ship and then that's it. I think I'm pretty sure you have to queue up like 4 different ships. Once you get knocked out, then you put on somewhere else.
Kind of like did in World of Planes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that. Interested in the, a lot of people, we can take our tinfoil hats off now if you want to, but a lot of people have shit on wargaming for a long time. For whatever reason, community-wise, streamers, community contributors. I mean, we've seen a lot of it. We've seen a lot of it in our time. But one thing that I will sit here and go on record and say wargaming does better than just about any other company that I've ever played games with or been involved with is the events. The events are absolutely fantastic. The Halloween event, coming up with that storyline, the details on the events. Wasn't a big fan of the submarine event, but still, it was beautiful. And the ideas behind what we're doing is absolutely phenomenal. And so they do events extremely well. And I think that wargaming doesn't get enough credit for those. The camos, they look great. The modeling looks great. The technical design of the game looks fucking fantastic aesthetically.
So, one of the things that I found right off the bat with this 8.8 update, when I looked at, I was like queuing up my Des Moines, right? Going in for the super containers. And I sit there looking at my door. I went, is that my Des Moines? Why does it look so detailed?
Yeah.
And literally, that was my reaction on the stream. I clicked there. I'm like, oh my God. You can see all these tiny little barrels. You can see all these little railings on the side of the, like where they weren't before. And then when I took it into battle, they're all there. You can see each individual tiny plank going across. It's all like water and everything else and all that. I'm like, detail.
Yeah. It's all in the details. I think that a lot of people don't understand that they have 1 year to work on this thing.
Jeez.
And they have 1 year to work on it and then internal test it. Because we don't really get a PTR for Halloween unless something that we're not privy to. But you get it. You get the point. And these Halloween events have been so much fun and such a nice break. Such a nice break from the random droll. I guess I'm just going to call it the random droll because it just feels like it goes on and on. And it's very nice. It's very nice to see that they put a lot of time and effort in that, and I just want them to know that it is appreciated by a lot of the community. I know you appreciate it. I appreciate it. Most of the guys over here appreciate it, and I think that's fantastic. And I can't wait for the space event. I can't wait for the Halloween event. I honestly wish that there was more events like that. But hey, that some of that shit's time consuming, and they don't have the resources or abilities to get them all done. For here's a Valentine's event, let's go fuck hearts or some shit. Here's a Christmas event, but we get to Christmas containers, and then we get missions that we can do in randoms, and I'd like to see more things that take us out of randoms.
Back to putting your tinfoil hat back on.
All right,
quick.
Put that tinfoil hat back on.
There was a game. Attack of the Clones or something like that. It was Attack of the Clone Machines. It's an actual video game, and it's strictly a Twitch game that allowed Twitch viewers to gain currency. Then they were able to buy heavier, more powerful bots in an arena to go against the streamer.
So check this out.
So you had like a little bot that would jump in the arena, and they would share a couple different things around the arena.
Uh-huh.
And then the actual Twitch stream would actually co-op and get like a massive spider bot that was extremely overpowered. And what I did is I umped the ante on that and basically gave everybody millions of tokens. I said, bring that on.
Yeah.
And literally my entire freaking screen was like full of shit. So it was so much stuff on there But I can just imagine. I don't think they can do this because of maybe the server resources or anything that's involved in it. But take, for example, a next level of your co-op. If you were to take like a person, maybe take a group of 5, right? Put them into a co-op match that has several different ships coming at you, but allow the viewers to add more powerful ships to that challenge, or add a challenge mode to it. Anyhow, just more engagement for it.
There's a game out there. God damn it! I was gonna call it. I got it with my Tobii eye tracker, right? I had one of the eye trackers, and it was a game that was played on that. Vermintide 2 had Twitch interaction like that, to where they, hey guys, it's popped up. Twitch, what do you want to do? They can send you out a fucking boss that you're not ready for, or they can send you out heals if the chat wants to be fucking nice and stuff like that. I think that
They're never nice.
Well, no, they're never nice. They wanted to see me. They wanted to see me fight a guy at level 30 when I was level 4. So I mean, they're like, okay, go get him. And luckily, I stopped and alt tabbed out, and I said, hey, come kill this guy for me. And we got it killed. So I survived. But anyway, it's not the point. The point is that something like that does have merit. Okay, guys, you can only do it in this. You can't do it in a rank battle. You can't do it in this, but you have to play, people have to actually play this thing. And I think that for the majority of the streamers that are out there that stream during the day, the EU guys, the main EU guys, the main NA guys toward the evening will benefit from it, and it'll be a lot of fun. As for the lower guys, I don't know. The guys that got 2 and 3 people in their channel, will they benefit from it? I don't know. I mean, it's something interesting to engage your community, and I do think that it does have merit, and I would like to see that. Okay, guys, we're going to run operations here. God damn it, we need a heal. Pop up a heal, guys. Or here every so often something pops up on the screen. You can vote right now. Vote A, B, or C, and this is the outcome or some shit. I think that'd be great.
Apparently, someone's already got it. So Borderlands 3 already. So every 15 minutes, donations throws a badass boss at you at random. Most of the time, streamer died to it.
That'd be cool. I mean, that'd be cool. You put it up in operations, 7v7, get your crew together, and the chat just fucking challenges you with shit. You start out, okay, here's first 3 minutes of the match, you have this boats to fucking contend with, and they drop out and they come spawn in, and then once you take care of that, but you have to extend the time of the game to somewhere of an hour or whatever, and you have 10 tiers that you can go through, and for each maybe they can monetize it somehow if they want to, or you have to use my stream currency, or you just vote on it. I think anything that I think streamers, and you might agree with this, but I think streamers are at their best when they're interacting with their chat, number one. And number two, if I can encourage any kind of chat interaction, albeit playing a game with me or shooting, bouncing ideas off of the chat, anything that I could do to involve the chat in the stream is always a bonus, always a plus, and can never be bad.
Yeah.
That's a good tinfoil hat. That's a good tinfoil hat. That's something that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
That's something that's pretty badass, and I do appreciate that. So there you go. So let's move on. There's a ship out there that everybody loves to hate right now. Ship out there that everybody loves to hate, hyf1re. Smolensk.
Yeah.
You played this thing?
Uh-huh. Have you played in co-op yet?
No.
Have you gotten your 1,000 ribbons in it?
No.
When you're playing your naval battles for your clan, and it says get 75 ribbons, get 100, get 200, get 300. I'm like, okay.
Check.
How many more ribbons do you need on this?
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Yeah.
See what I mean?
I'll be honest with you, man. I think a lot of our guys have stopped doing naval battles because we don't need it. We don't need the oil.
Yeah, we need it. Our clan needs it. So.
We've been maxed out on oil for a long time. A boat that everybody loves to hate right now and hates to play against, but loves to fucking play it. I have the wonderful distinction of having a game in this boat. 261 hits with no fucking fires.
Oh, man.
Now, that was for the first half of the game. Second half of the game, on another 300 hits, I had 7 goddamn fires and 150,000 damage.
Are you running hyf1re in or something?
No, of course. It's 130s. You got to. 130, yeah, but still, 261 hits, no fires. RNG's fuckery.
Yeah, well.
And Spreadsheet Angel said, okay, now I will bless thee. You have been blessed with the IFHE. Then I get 7 fires over the next 4 minutes. And then the game was over. But either way.
Yeah. I played it. I tested it. I thought it was dirty. When I first started playing it, and then when it got released, and we got it, I have actually, wouldn't say avoided it, but it just, to me, it has not piqued my interest to play it.
I understand.
Because there's only so many other things that I can play, and I know that if I go in with the Smolensk as a community contributor, as a streamer, I'm gonna get this negative, huge, polarized, oh my god, why are you playing it? I don't really want that. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I got that. I get that every once in a while. Why are you playing that? Because I can. And because I fucking want to. I'm waiting. It's a fucking terrible idea for this game. So is the Colbert, and I don't like these highfalutin DACA boats. I don't care if it's got 35,000 hit points. It's fucking broken as shit. To put out that much firepower and have that much, I don't care if I can one-shot it. I just don't care. It is such a detriment to this game, and that whole mentality of the DACA, let's just add more fucking fire chance to everything, it just kills the game for me. It's such a struggle to want to play at any kind of tier anymore. You know? It's such a struggle to want to play against these things when there's literally zero that you can do to it. Even if you hit this guy flat broadside, guess what? 9 times out of 10 with a battleship, overpins, guys, overpins, because you can't punish these guys for going broadside anymore.
That's the thing about the Smolensk, though, too, is it actually has the same amount of as in Omaha. Yeah. It's got like a tier 5 armor rating, so AP rounds for battleships. Guess what? Right through.
Overpin. So I disagree. I disagree with those statements saying, "Oh, it's not overpowered because you can really shit all over it." And I'm like, can you though? Can you really shit all over it? Just think about this. You don't need a tinfoil hat theory because we've done it. Fucking Smolensk, Colbert, and a fucking Harry Gumbo. You can even not have the fucking Colbert, a fucking Worcester, a Minotaur. You fucking failed division and you got 2 Harry Gumbos and a kid of concept. I mean, do you see the stupidity of what this thing involves and what this thing brings to the game? Me and Timmy G, you know Timmy G.
Yep.
Harry Gumbo and a Colbert when the Colbert first came out.
Oh boy.
71,000 damage in 3 minutes on a Montana.
Jesus.
Just nothing but pure unadulterated DACA. It was ridiculous. I'm sorry, but they shouldn't be able to do that. Mechanics like that should not be able to be in this game where that guy has literally nothing that he can do other than, guess what, guys? Go camping somewhere. Because that's the only thing that you can do to be effective in this game anymore is to go fucking camping.
Yep.
There you go. All right, so this is something that we came up with last week. Overpins on cruisers should cause flooding again.
I mean, if the overpins are happening a lot, and I can overpin. I had every once in a while I have somebody on my channel just go like, "What's overpin?"
Boat
it's basically when the shell penetrates one side of the ship, doesn't detonate in the middle of it, and just goes right out the other side. That's what an overpin does. It doesn't actually do its potential damage. But physics. So we'd say that if a shell goes through one side of the shell or to the ship to the other, there's one massive hole, and that hole, yeah, I can see flooding happening if it's at the water line. But if it's
if it's up on the deck or whatever, no, I don't care. No.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. I think the fact that battleships are unable to continue to punish these cruisers for going broadside from 10 kilometers and below, especially some of these higher tiers that have the fucking 18-inch guns, you have no fucking chance of citadeling these guys at 10 kilometers. I think that there should be some kind of compensation flooding damage. They set me on fire and they set me on residual fires. And here's the thing.
I'm going to set you on flooding.
I'm going to set you on flooding. There's got to be a punishment for that. Battleships over cruisers over destroyers over battleships. Battleships really aren't over cruisers at the moment. Cruisers are such an echelon by themselves.
Yeah.
So overpin everywhere. You're overpinning DDs. You're overpinning cruisers. I think that what I have said way back in the day of you're taking away my AP versus destroyers. What's to stop the cruiser people from bitching and moaning? Now you've essentially taken away the consistency of my AP on cruisers. What the fuck is the point of playing a battleship?
Yeah.
Just pull them out of the game. Just pull battleships out of the game. That's right, because they're not being able to do anything effective with their AP anymore. They're not being able to punish DDs. They're not being able to punish cruisers. What's the point? Now we're just going to switch over. We're going to switch over to HE for the next 6 months, and then people are going to bitch, battleships do too much damage with HE. Then they nerf the shit out of that. So nobody plays battleships anymore. Then the destroyers are going to start bitching about HE on cruisers and how much damage it does and how much other crap. So they pull that shit off. Now everybody's a fucking UK. Everybody has only AP. And then that does too much damage. So they pull that shit off. And now you're shooting rubber fucking beach balls at people. Then they just like, you know what? Fuck this shit, man. Let's take that fucking cruiser. Let's pull that out of the game. Battleships, nobody's playing that shit anymore. We have 2 people actually playing battleships in the last 2 years of this game. Everybody's out there running around bitching that this game got boring because DD's the only thing that can do anything anymore.
Yeah.
Do you see the slippery slope, man, that they've started with removing AP damage versus destroyers? Because now the cruiser guys are going to start complaining. And yet, what happens? What happens? The battleship guys are just like, yo, man, come on, man. Quit knocking my shit. Oh, you're a fucking crybaby. You got 70,000 hit points. I'm like, who cares? I'm just a fucking floating damage farm for everybody at this point. I am literally sucking all the fires up. Which, still to this day, I don't understand why fires can actually destroy a ship. They burn it and it explodes. Okay, fine. But why at this point in time are fires not diminishing returns?
Yeah, I mean, I think the fires, the high explosive stuff is just a bit outrageous right now. You know, especially with all the dockets and stuff out there.
Nobody. So either way, guys, we're gonna go into the Q&A section here and again. But before we do, let's take a boat that high fire, some boat that you like, or some boat that you think doesn't get enough attention from the community. I want you to tell us what the boat. Maybe it's your favorite boat. Maybe it's a boat that you don't play very often, but when you do, you really enjoy it. We'll do this as a ship spotlight type thing.
You know, I still like my Des Moines. Yeah, it's one of those ships that's been out there for some time. It's gone through some changes, even with the legendary upgrades and stuff on that. I still feel very comfortable whenever I'm playing Des Moines. Even with all the changes with the carriers, all the changes with overpins, even with Kremlins around, good positioning, a good position Des Moines can wreck anybody's day.
All right, so let me ask you this. Spotter plane or radar?
I tried that spotter plane for some time. It did not work for me.
Yeah.
My spotter plane, geometrics, whatever the fuck it is you call it, trying to shoot targets with it because you're up in the air now and shit. Don't get me started. It doesn't work for me. I can't hit shit with the actual spotter plane. Some people are really good at it. Some people are really good at it. I'm not.
Yeah.
So
I get it.
Radar. Yeah.
I am a just to put on and try to disprove some of the, oh my God, this guy took fucking spotter plane demonies. I'm pissed off at him. I have put it on, and I absolutely love it. I think it's fantastic. I have with the legendary mod, the stop and go on that boat is absolutely redonkulous. And so I am playing around caps, doing the same, playing exactly like a fucking Henry. You go in there, turn the fuck around, back up a little bit. Oh, stop. Somebody's shooting at me. Fuck you. I'm going to shoot it back at you. I'm going to shoot at you. I might even set you on fire. Not only am I going to set you on fire, but I'm going to switch over to my AP and I'm going to knock the hell out of your goddamn cruisers for 6 and 7, 8,000 damage at a pop. And then you're going to shoot at me. Okay. Ding, ding. I got my gas. Guess what? I'm at 32 knots in under 10 seconds. Boom, I'm out. You ain't gonna fucking catch me, motherfucker. And then I'm gonna continue to fire high explosive HE on top of the battleships to try to continue to set them on fire. I find it very enjoyable to play the Demonies. And you know, tier 10 cruisers aren't something that I play very often. I don't play tier 10 very often for that matter, but when I do, I really enjoy the Demonies with the spotter plane. It takes a very unique and learning how to. I think anybody that any boat out there that has a spotter plane, Warspite, you know, some of these boats. Oh my God, learn how to fucking use these things. Go in there for 30, 40 games in a row and do nothing but shoot in that mode so you can figure out how to do it, because it's such a good tool that you can throw that spotter plane up there, and if a guy's sitting dead still, it's pretty easy to hit him. It's pretty easy to hit him, but if he's on the move and he's going really fast, if you can hit a Henry from 17 kilometers away in that thing, more power to you, buddy.
Another one that I've seen a couple new people try to figure out is Friesland. Even though the Friesland has, it doesn't have torpedoes, but it's, to me, that particular ship is all about your positioning. If you're going to get rushed, if you're going to get pushed by any particular type of ship at all, you're probably in the wrong position in the first place.
True.
Because if you don't have torpedoes, you don't have torpedoes. So that's basically you can't go up to certain areas and go expect, oh, I'm just gonna push this gap. You don't have torpedoes. So it's just, you got to play that ship a little differently.
I think
yes, it's a gunboat. It can do some damage, but you can't. It's not a traditional DD.
Right. I think that Udaloy fits his playstyle as the same way, but it does have torpedoes. It is a support DD. It is a fleet escort DD. If you're going to go into a cap, which you can, and I recommend going around the caps, but not pushing into the caps, but make sure you have an escape. You never want to be bow down on a fucking on a cap when you should be bow away from the guy so you can make an escape. So I've seen, you've seen it. You've seen it a million times. I've seen it a million times. People go in, they pop their smoke, and then just stop, and they have no chance of maneuvering out. Right. So we go in there, we turn out, and we run the edge of the cap, and we get to a point where if I am under fire or if I am spotted, I can escape out behind an island, and then I'm good. I think that's the positioning that people need on the Friesland. You know, secondary boat. No, let the Shimikaze pray that motherfucker's not going out with 20-kilometer peds out to the one line, wasting their 5.5-kilometer detection. Let him come into the cap, and you support that guy. I think the Friesland is a phenomenal boat.
Yeah.
Just for that reason. Plus, it's got the DACA, and it fits right into everything else that we've been talking about today. DACA, baby. I like the Friesland. I think it's great. So, Demonies. Tier 10 American cruiser. Go out there and play it. Heavy cruiser at that. Fantastic boat. I absolutely love playing it, and it's not something that I played a lot before. I think when I first started playing it again, I had like 10,000 experience total on it. After I got it, I just went on to another line. And going back and playing some of these other things, Salem is really good as well. Yeah. I mean, it's the same boat. It's basically the same boat with shitty radar.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the Salem doesn't get the legendary things, so it's basically kind of like a stock Salem where it's like you get those things.
Stock Demonies, then you got the radar. So I honestly think that the Salem is probably the most balanced tier 10 cruiser with radar, because you have to actually risk something to get that radar to be effective.
Yeah.
And I think that they should take a note on that and readjust the fucking radar values of everything.
Mm-hmm.
But radar doesn't run the game according to the spreadsheet. All right.
What do you got queued up for the Q&As?
We've got quite a bit actually here for the Q&A, guys. Guys, we're hanging out with my man hyf1re. Here. You guys can hit him up over on the Facebook, fb.gg/hyf1re, just like it says on the screen. And for you guys over on YouTube, there'll be a description down in the There'll be a link down in this comment section below if you guys are watching this some other time. You guys can also hit him up at hyf1re over on the Twitter. You guys can hit me up at sir_venom_ik or twitch.tv/sirvenomik if you guys are here and y'all want to come have a live conversation. Now, we've asked the chat out there to give us their questions, comments, or concerns about anything that we've talked about today. And this is what we've come up with. There's a few, guys. We're going to go head off into this Q&A session. But before we do that, hyf1re, tell them a little bit about your channel, what your schedule is, and let's promote yourself here. Tell them whatever you want to do. Guys, go check out hyf1re's channel.
Normally, if you come into my channel, I'm probably here along with the usual hat kind of thing. So that's usually my content. So a lot of times people come in, how can you see? How can you play with these sunglasses on? But you see how reflective?
Yeah.
They're pretty reflective. Anyhow. I do Monday through Saturday, normally 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I usually do an afternoon stream about 2 o'clock to about 6, unless there's certain days like today or so, there's a certain special event going on, then I may cancel like the afternoon streams. I'm a community contributor for the PC version for North America. I do have accounts on EU and the CIS, which is the Russian server. Still working on an Asian server account. But I'm also now a community contributor for the console version, and in particular, the PlayStation 4.
There you go.
In the future, they didn't say that Xbox and PlayStation 4 are going to be able to play with each other yet. So if you're on one or the other, don't. It will happen at some point. But yeah, I usually do giveaways on Friday too. So it's usually a whatever the spice of the month is for container community contributor month, or not month, community contributor container, and several subscriber camouflage codes. So those are out there usually on Friday. I haven't quite figured out what to do on the console wise for giveaways. It's still kind of new, but again, there you go. I am on Facebook Gaming, up and coming streaming platform out there. So if you're looking for an alternative, tell your mom about it, whatever you want. Sure, I'm there.
There you go. All right. You guys go hit him up, man. I am Sir Venom IK. Appreciate you guys coming out for episode number 37. Just want to let you guys know that this is the last podcast before TwitchCon. We will not have one next week. We will just be playing normal games next week on the 24th. I do have people starting to be scheduled for early October. Maybe the second week. I think maybe the 8th. We'll be back on the 8th or something like that. I don't know. I'll let you guys know in the future. So either way, hyf1re, are you ready to jump into these questions?
Hey, also real quick, I will see you at TwitchCon. So if anybody else is going to TwitchCon too, I'll be there too.
Yeah, that's right. We're gonna try to get up. I just have a question for you.
A little bit of a black sheep. I'll be there. Yeah, I don't. But I'm a community. I support you guys.
Yeah, man. Guy going to TwitchCon. He doesn't even stream on Twitch anymore. Do you like?
All my friends are here.
Do you like Snow White?
Yes.
Good, because you're gonna get a Snow White when I get there. I've got gifts.
Okay.
Okay. I've got gifts for people that I see at TwitchCon. And a couple, the Word of Worship guys that we're going to meet up, Senpai and Cased and me, Jay, she'll finally show up again this year, maybe, even though he wasn't there the first year I went, but he said he was, but I didn't ever see him. So whatever. Me, Jace, and I've got gift for all of you. So make sure that we get together so I can give you this gifts. All right, Mr. Snow White. All right, there we go. Let's rock and roll into question number 1. Dredge _ says, how many times did DDs YOLO in and die? They try to cap it, and DDs torp each other. CVs take them out or permaspot. Radar destroys DDs. Then the cruisers and battleships have no counter. Absolutely stupid. Okay.
They do a lot. They do. Okay, look. If you go back in your time machine 2 years ago, all right, console players are telling me that DDs go in there and support their team. What changed? Nothing. So
2 years of bullshit.
Yeah, there's
not only that. What changed? 2 years of bullshit and people being stupid under 10 kilometers versus a battleship and getting blapped. But guess what? They bitched about too much damage from AP. So they took it
still
away.
The same.
Still
people,
the same. Nothing changed.
Nothing changed. Nothing
people
changed
still want to camp. Epic. Epic Rebel Soldier says those heat-seeking torpedoes suck balls. They are trash. We'll see. We'll see. I think it's a fair compensation at this moment. Right. Number one, I have two lines of thought on this fire of these homing torpedoes. Number one, it's compensation because they can only fire 1 to 2 torpedoes out at a time instead of like DDs that have spreads. That's compensation for that. Or number two, they're catering to some of the dumbest people that can't figure out how to aim the goddamn things. So now they're going to put in a mechanic to really hit that lowest common denominator.
Help assist aiming. Yeah.
We got them high torpedoes, man.
How come this isn't console first instead of PC?
Yeah.
Help assist aiming.
Yeah. Dredge _ says battleship shells explode when hitting the water. If a submarine is in periscope depth, they should get hurt. Should they get hurt?
I mean, it's like a depth charge exploding on the top of the surface. It's still going to have a shockwave, so it's going to have some type of shockwave, but not really, that great of a shockwave if a depth charge explodes near a submarine, closer to it. I mean, I can see it happening.
As long as I can actually hit him, like if I aim for that guy and I shoot at him and it goes into the water and I can still hit him, instead of it went into the water and then went straight to the right. Shit like that would piss me off.
Yeah, one of the videos when they were doing their work in progress, I actually did see like the DD was in the proximity of the submarine and it just barely came up, probably periscope depth, and the DD was able to lock on him, aiming wise. So we don't know because yet we still don't have an actual testing down, but we can see that happening.
Well, let's see. I don't think that there's any reason to throw up the pitchforks and torches and say it's the end of the world because we haven't seen it yet. That's what they said about RPF. That's what they said about smoke change. That's what they, It's the next thing that's going to knock down the game. And I'll be honest with you right now, until they fucking decide to shut down the fucking servers, this game's not going to go anywhere. So
Last Stand. Remember when Last Stand got put in there? Do you remember hyf1re got put in there? Not able to fire past or not able to be spotting past your firing radius. I mean, where'd the game go? It's still here.
Invisible fire. God, that was a mess. All right, since DD's in the worst spot right now, I would be surprised if you were right about that. I'm not quite sure what he's talking about, what I was right about, but I'm assuming it was me, or maybe it was hyf1re was right about something. I don't fucking know. But that comes from Gert, GYRRTE. I'm not quite sure what he was talking about there, but hey, I'm right, man. That's right. Goddamn right, I'm right. Yeah, way to go, hyf1re. Amazing. All right, let's back up. Next question. Jose Varbrack. Yeah, IJN torpedo line expert marksman is useful to make the guns really make a difference.
They make it more combat utility because when you're being like I mentioned before, when you're sending torpedoes and stuff and you're smoking, it's like you gotta have something. You gotta do something between there, spotting, maybe shooting some other ships, lighting something on fire. Expert marksmanship with those because they're such a really slow.
Yeah, they're excruciatingly slow.
That helps you,
especially at that mid tier. The mid-tier DDs struggle. I still think that for tier, and if you take only the tier 7 boats that are there, tier 7 has probably got some of the worst performing DDs. They got the highest detectability. They don't get the benefit of the tier 8 DDs having that extra detectability. They have some of the slowest guns, some of the lowest damage, and then you're going up against things at tier 7 which have the most effective cruiser lines tier 7. Belfast, Atlanta, there's so many, Boise, the Helena, there's so many good cruisers at tier 7. Anything that you can do at tier 7 for DDs to get any kind of benefit because you are not the best at tier 7 for DDs. So yes, I tend to agree. Expert marksman does kind of make a difference, and I just don't like the feeling of uselessness when I'm playing games. I don't like the game has taken my ability to go play out of my hands and put it into somebody else's hands. It's very frustrating for people. So that's kind of why I've adjusted my captain skills to put expert marksman on some of these boats. Not all of them, but some of them. Garut says we were right about the destroyer is going to be the biggest community of players to swap over and play subs majority of the time. We're gonna see a big hit in destroyers.
I mean, like I said before, is that the destroyers already, a lot of them use their stealthiness to get around the map to spot that kind of thing already. So I think that particular type of characteristic already is going to be
It's very appealing.
Prime for subs. They're going to be stinking around and be around without being spotted. So.
No. So we're still going to get the anyway. Besides the point, yes, I do agree that. Well, it was my statement, so I agree with myself apparently that the majority of the people in a cruisers, they might go and try and play it for a little bit here and there, but the majority of the people that will stay playing subs are going to come from that DD pool, which will dilute even more of a very sketchy DD pool that we have already of players. So. Let's see. IJ and Torps have the line have the biggest alpha strike on the guns and actually just reload his crap in the turret traverse his crap. That was their compensation, was the higher alpha buff to compensate for some of these higher firing rate, like the Wu Wang when it came out was pretty high fire rate. The gearing has always been a high fire rate. The daring. So this is compensation for those Japanese, so they can maybe have a chance at fighting some of these things because maybe I don't have torps, or maybe I'm running 20 kilometer Shimakaze and I reloaded 2.5 minutes. So or Harry Gumbo, but that shit's got a whole bunch of DACA anyway. A lot of DD captains just don't get the DD roll to spot. So many of them die needlessly, sitting in smoke in the cap in the first 5 minutes of the match. Yeah, just go back to the diluted DD pool that we already have currently.
Yeah.
How often do you play DDs?
Well, I mean, I play them quite frequently. So I mean, even stuff is like it's 50. It's like 1/3. So I hardly play.
Pretty even split on your stats there.
Yeah.
Battleship carrier,
so
battleship.
I mean, I've caught myself going to the capture point and stuff. I've caught myself so many times sitting in capture points with smoke that I actually reverse and turn into going, torpedoes are coming. Don't worry about it. They're coming. Here they are. Poof, because I know it just happens so frequently. And then somebody that doesn't know about it, they're just like turn themselves into, bow in. I'm like, hey, sorry, you ran into my torpedoes.
Yeah, I'm not sorry. Fuck them. If they're dumb enough to hit them, man. See, I get so frustrated when I'm playing a DD and in randoms or ranked, and I hit other DDs torpedoes because they're avoidable. And if I was paying attention to where he was spotted or where he got spotted from, he drops his torps and then he gets spotted as he's going across the cap, and you're expecting those torps to come from that point, but he's already dropped them. And it's all and that's all experience. That's all experience. You've played probably thousands and thousands of games in DDs. I have as well. And you can't teach that to somebody, and that's unfortunate because I'll be like, hey, watch out for these torps. I could sit there and call it out for you, but until you get hit by those torps over and over and over again, you're not going to fucking know. Let's talk about DDs here for another second here because I had something that I wanted to comment on. What's the most frustrating thing that you can think of to see on a friendly DD? The most frustrating thing that you can see. And then I'll tell you why you're wrong.
So not having survivability expert?
No.
I mean, it really is like the circumstances, man.
Well, here's the most frustrating thing that I see. Going into a cap, popping their smoke when they're not spotted.
Oh.
That's the most frustrating thing that I can see on a friendly DD. Because now you have essentially given up your biggest advantage on the board is your detectability.
Yep.
You don't know where the fuck you are, but guess what? Now he does. and now you're going to invite those torpedoes. That's the most frustrating thing that I see all the time.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, let's move to the next question here, or the next comment. And let's see. Danny Todika says, I was playing the Republic for a super container in CoOp, and I got 1.2 million credits for 70,000 damage and 3 kills. That's insane. Because I was just telling you that I got that million credit damage in the Thunderer.
Okay.
Playing CoOp. I'm interested to know. Maybe it's a bonus for the first win, so maybe it would discourage people from going to CoOp to do it.
I don't know. I mean, if people are making millions of credits in CoOp,
imagine what they would do for a win in a halfway decent game in regular. 2-3 million credits. Put a fucking Missouri out there with a boosted up Gamescom camo, and then tell me what happened.
Yeah, right.
Tell me what happens there. Just played 5 ranked battles in a sign-up, and the whole team, except for the DD and me, camping all behind an island. Even the BBs are starting to camp and lost all these games. The DACA effect is real. Seriously, something needs to change. For God's sake, tier 7. Dude, people are going to camp no matter what they do. I don't care. I don't care what kind of thing that they do. You can only stay still for 2 seconds, and then you start ticking down hit points. That people are going to camp. People don't give a shit what anybody else says, and they're going to sit there behind the island because they can stay alive. And they think that the longer that they're alive, that the more important that they are to the game. You're already dead, man. Shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Quit fucking camping behind the island. We need you to go get that cap. You're dead, you son of a bitch.
So,
I'm just like, bah! I was dead in the first 5 minutes, but I hit 7 torpedoes in that first 5 minutes, killed 2 DDs, and got another cruiser halfway down, so you could fucking kill it while you're sitting there camping. Now fucking stop camping. You're dead. You suck. You're dead, man.
Yeah. Salt, man.
Jesus. I'm just like, ah. Some people drive me crazy with this game, man. There was a Herikaze fan in Tier 8 clan battles, but switched to the Coxsack due to the range and the short smokes. Hydro helps too. Maybe Herikaze with 100mm plus 18 Captain Concealment IFHE AFT, which I didn't have. Herikaze is a very interesting boat. It's a very low health pool. And I don't really necessarily think that would be somebody's go-to choice. 100mm are fine, but the Akizuki does it better. It has more health. And I don't know.
The Akizukis and stuff, the Japanese destroyers, they don't maneuver like the Cossack does.
True. Very good boat the Cossack is, and if I had to choose, I would probably take that or the Loyang, just because I've played the Loyang so many times. And that 5.5 kilometer hydro is ridiculous for Tier 8. Other than that hydro, the Loyang is a piece of shit. Really shitty torpedoes that don't hit. They hit like the Sims torpedoes, so you'll get a hit on the broadside of an Amagi for $5,000.
And only 4 guns.
Yep, 4 guns, so it's a C-hole, and you don't even have that great of AA.
Nope.
So without that hydro, you're a piece of shit. And you're probably dead already. Woohoo! All right, moving on. Whirl says, hyf1re. At hyf1re, this one's directed to you. I think Wargaming should start considering at least a 5% chance of flooding when hit when overpin from a salvo from a battleship AP shell.
I mean, some type of percentage would be 5 or less could be good. I mean, think about it. I mean, you're firing 30 seconds AP rounds. You get, let's say, 16 of them coming at you at once. You're not going to get that 16 shells coming at you 5 seconds later. So, yeah, one of those shells out of 16 of them could cause a chance of flooding. Not all of them.
2 of them.
But just a couple. Yeah, a small chance of maybe one doing it. Yeah, I can see that being reasonable.
I think it's reasonable, and I also think that 2 shells, because you have 2 places to be on floods, just like battleships do. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Fuck that gander. But he's dead. All right. Clay Hole says people are not nicer on Facebook because they use their real names in chat.
Well, guess what? If you actually go create a channel or you got to create a page, put yourself a public figure, you can come back to my channel and talk as your public figure.
There you go. But, all right, Elskid, I don't use Facebook for anything. Because there's a huge banner telling me to create an account that you can't remove since I deleted my account. Man, personal preferences, to each their own. Just checked. It's called Frontline in World of Tanks. Quick Baby on Twitch shows it in its previous videos. That's what we're talking about. Talking about the nine different map scenarios. That'd be pretty cool. I wonder how they would institute that in World of Warships, though. You got arms race over here, and you need to collect 1,000 points before the bots kill you all. Over here, you need to go attack this bastion mode over here. Then in the next one, okay, guys, you got the middle one. That 9 out of 9 right there in that middle is epicenter. You guys got to play epicenter to win against the rest of the team, the enemy.
I see the middle map being like that or something.
Yeah.
Everybody clears out the middles and then as an epicenter.
Sounds good. None of the Solus Bill says yes. The details he loves. We're talking about the visual aesthetics of the game and how good they are. Solus Bill says at SurvNYK, yes, the details, but I only see park benches on the French cruisers. I leave it to the French to enjoy the warship.
Oh, that was good.
Master Kane says none of the bitching matters. Sub will destroy the game beyond repair. Prove me wrong. Well, you don't have to prove you wrong. You have to prove yourself fucking right with that fucking statement because they haven't even come out yet. So prove yourself right. AP shells have diminishing returns, so said HE shells should have diminishing returns for at least 6 months. Oh, he's been saying that for 6 months. Excuse me, I was like, for 6 months? What the fuck? All right, guys, you got a 6-month time frame on this shit. Let's see how it works out, boys. HE's going to have diminishing returns, but it does have diminishing returns. Look at Battleship HE versus Destroyers. You rip off a 16-gun salvo versus the fucking Montana, and what happens? 8,000 damage on it, right? 8,000 damage. What happens with the next one? $4,000.
That's what I was thinking. Diminishing returns for a shell that got bought off a black market or something when it gets fired. There's a 6 months old only does a third of the damage.
Guys, if y'all want to get the new hotness, man, we got the gold ammo coming in. Please, Wargaming, don't ever put fucking gold ammo in here. But that one's going to be good. But the other shit that you're going to go, you might got from I was going to racist there, but you might got off of the black market. We'll just go with that. That may or may not be up to the nice United States American standards of fucking battleship shells. So not only that, you just lost one gun out of your turret, and now you're just a fucking Ohio. That's right, it exploded.
Oh,
and you're dead. Master Kane, it is hard for a forest to fight. It is hard for a forest to light on fire after it's already been burnt. But fire chance could work like that. The amount accelerators all around. I honestly think for battleships, high fire. I honestly think that battleships should not have any more fire chance than their reloadability. Tie it directly to that. So if you have a 30-second reload, you have a 30-second fire chance.
Yeah.
If you have adrenaline rush on, the lower you get, your fire rate goes down. But then, okay, I've got 27 seconds now, but I'm going to go up those 3 points. So I'm going to have a 33% chance the lower I get. So you're just kind of like the guns of firing and the blaze of glory type thing to where I can do more the lower health I am. I think that's a pretty good compensation.
Yeah.
For a fire chance and everything.
I'd agree.
Dredge, and sometimes let the DD cap wait 1 minute and then cap yourself when the DD is going to another cap. That's also something else that really bothers me about the way DDs play now is they will cap a cap and then they will just leave. And they will abandon that cap and they won't sit there and wait. And guess what? There's 6 people over there and you just cap the cap. I got the cap. And then they fucking run off and they do their own thing. And guess what? Now there's no deterrent for them to come in because they haven't had torps. They haven't seen torps in a minute. Where's that motherfucker at? Oh, he's over at that cap. Let's push.
Mm-hmm.
What an interesting episode, man. I've really enjoyed this episode. Having a good time, and that's all that matters here for the deal. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. The question has been posed. Mental short circuit. What up, Dad? How you doing, man? It's good to see you. Master Kana says, "Is the Thunderer a good buy? Do you think the Thunderer is worth the money?"
It's coal, isn't it?
252,000 coal. If you have all the other coal ships, fuck it, go for it. I don't care.
Yeah, get it.
I would not get it before the John Bart. I think the John Bart. I would not get it before the Smolensk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after that, after you get those two boats, you're fine. Get whatever.
I mean, if you have all the other coal ships, if you haven't got Salem already yet, get that too. So Salem's a good investment. Jane Bart's a good investment. Smolensk definitely.
Get it now before they nerf it, because you know they will.
Right, or remove it.
Or remove it.
Not remove it from the game, but remove it from being sold.
It's going to go by the wayside, like Missouri and Musashi have. I really think that it will be out for about a year, and then they'll pull it because it's going to end up being overall it's going to be too strong. I don't care how. I don't care. Here's the interesting thing that they have done, and what some of the feedback that we have gotten. Hi-Fire. I don't know if you've paid attention to some of the Discord about this boat and the back and forth between some of the CCs and the developers, and basically it's the win rate's pretty even with everything else at Tier 10.
It's all I gotta say. It's go to World of Warcraft and get the spreadsheet approved clan, man.
I'm in that clan. Spreadsheet approved, baby. Spreadsheet approved. There you go. What a fun thing. And you know what? And I want them to, they have their ways of doing things, but when they are sitting there and telling us that we are wrong, I feel that this boat is a little bit overpowered. I think it's a little bit too strong. Now the average guy or the below average player is not going to know what the fuck to do with this boat, and he's going to get himself shit on. So he gets shit on 9 times out of 10. But the good player, Hi-Fire out there, goes out there and consistently gets 150,000 damage, and then every once in a while he jumps it up there at about 300,000 damage. He's rocking out with his cock out, and then he gets, one time he just gets blown up, and some motherfucker's like, "Hey, you're dead." He's already dead over there. So I mean, what can he do? I mean, there's such a wide variety of players that are in this game, and you're going to see so many people have this 300,000 damage, but I think you're going to see twice as many people don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they get their shit pushed in. And I think that will skew the numbers so bad that it doesn't matter if you do 300,000 damage. They don't care because the win rate is at 50% or whatever.
So it's the medium. So your medium is so large between the 300, the 400, or even possibly 500,000 damage shipped to your 5,000 damage. It's just your level of play is so spread out that it's balanced the spreadsheet because it's average. But when you take a look at other ships or so, you'll see that the average between your low playing ship might actually have, or low playing player might only get like maybe 15 or 20,000, and your highest maybe 100,000. So there's the average is there. But its spread is so much lower than what the Smolensk is going to be.
Yeah, and you can say that about a lot of different boats as well. With the Colbert, I don't have the Colbert because I just can't be bothered to grind anymore, than I already do. So when that does come out in Hi-Fire, when I do get it, I am actively looking for the Smolensk Colbert fucking Harry Gumbo division, or the 3 cruiser. The 3 highfalutin cruiser divisions that are just going to absolutely hammer that game. We might get blown up off the map, but we're going to do a lot of shit before we get done. And it's nothing that I wonder what the server average is for some of these ships. The Colbert's not going to have as much because a lot of people don't have it, but the Smolensk is available to a wider range of people. So Don't know. Sauce3 says, hyf1re or Servenom, does World Wargaming be doing a hotfix for the broken sound pack? They have already put out a public service announcement saying that they are working on a fix. They know what the problem is.
Do you want me to go find that Reddit real quick and tell them how to change it?
Sure, go for it. Worrell, hyf1re, don't you think there should be a limit of 2 similar tier class ships for each of the matchmaking? Like the other day, there was 3 Smolensk and 2 Frieslands on the other team. The focusing fire on the poor GK player that burned. Nope, I don't think so. I'm going to stop you right there on that, Worrell. You can't limit anything. If they're going to limit one thing to the game, is the amount of DDs that are in the game. I don't give a shit what the spread is. You got a Kebab, you got a Udaloy, and you got a fucking Benson. You got a 8, 9, and 10. On the other team, you got a fucking Harry Gumbo, you got a Fletcher, and you got somebody in a Loyang. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's how you react to that thing. Fuck that GK player. He shouldn't have been where he was. That's basically the attitude that a lot of people will have. I think that if they are going to look at limiting anything, and I think a majority of the players will think this as well, especially when you go into something competitive like a ranked season, where the only thing that they would want limited, if you got radar over here, they want radar over there.
Do I got permission to post the link?
Yeah, go for it.
Here you go, guys. There is the Reddit for right now to temporarily fix your sound issues. It was posted on Reddit there by pretty much Wargaming.
The next, there you go. Look at the Atlanta. I have really great games, but you need AFT and IFHE. At least half of the Atlanta players YOLO and die, and a balance and average for the people who don't know how to play the Atlanta equals the Smolensk. I disagree with part of your statement here. The Atlanta is my most played ship. I've got 2.2 million experience solely on the Atlanta alone. I've got another 1.9 million experience on the Flint, which is relatively the same. Here's where I disagree with your statement. Before IFHE was here, the Atlanta was still a fucking boss. So you don't necessarily need IFHE to make the Atlanta work. You don't need IFHE to make any of these boats work. Just understand that you're relying on, you're going to get lower damage, but you're going to have higher fire chance. That's the only caveat.
There is no IFHE on the consoles, and well,
the Atlantas. Say that again. You cut out.
So IFHE is not on the console version of World Warships, and the Atlanta does very well.
Yeah, but it has nothing to do with AFT, IFHE. AFT, I will recommend. Yes, that's mandatory at 13.3 kilometers instead of 11.1 because that's a fucking pain in the ass. But I do agree that. It doesn't matter what boat you play. It doesn't even matter if it's the Atlanta or the Smolensk. If you play it like a moron, you're gonna get wrecked off the board. Period. Belfast, as good as Belfast is, and this goes into another conversation of this game is pay to win because I can get the Belfast. No, if you're an idiot, it doesn't matter. You've wasted your money. You're not going to win that game if you're an idiot. So it all depends on how people fucking play the game as opposed to what type of boat it is. Does that make sense? When subs are released and it comes down to a sub versus a CV, how will the sub detect or kill or detect the sub? We don't know.
Don't know.
Don't know yet.
We don't
know. Anybody having login issues? It's forcing me to make a new login. I'm not. You might want to stop first and check your files. Make sure you run the file checker and then go back in. If not, and then they're going to tell you. I'll tell you right now. First thing they do is run file checker. Second thing they do is uninstall and reinstall. Third thing is you might want to go log into the actual website itself and make sure that your information is correct. Change your passwords and everything, just to be on the safe side. Went on Reddit and got insta cancer. Feels good, man. Don't go to Reddit.
Sorry, that's for the audio. Was posted at.
And Samster Redclaw says, yes, I've had the login issues as well. Just kill WoWs and restart it, and it fixed it for me.
There you go.
Texas Rattlers will be our last comment, and then we'll get out of here because I know you're busy. You got things to do. Doesn't matter what ship you're in. If you don't know how to play it, you will never be worth a shit in it. And that's not necessarily true. I mean, you can learn. Yeah. You can learn to be good in that boat, but not in co-op. You're not going to learn how to be good in that boat in co-op, and you're not going to learn how to be good in that boat if you're just out there to have fun. Play to win, motherfuckers. Play to win. Yeah. And stop dying. There you go. All right, boys, if there's anything else, man, that is it. That's all I have got for you, sir, today. I want to say thank you very much, Mr. hyf1re, for coming on to the podcast. Episode number 37 is now officially in the books. I do appreciate it, man. hyf1re, tell them where they can find you real quick, and then we'll get out of here.
Yeah, thanks again, Sir Venom IK, for the once again for the second one the podcast invitation. Do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yes, I am on Facebook Gaming. You can find my channel at fb.gg/hyf1re. So I am a full-time Facebook gaming streamer content. That's where you can find me. Both the World of Warships PC North America main contributor and also the console community contributor as well. 9 a.m. to 1, 2 to 6, Monday through Saturday.
That's a lot of streaming time. That's
Full
what it
time,
takes,
man.
though. That's what it takes,
Full
man.
time.
You want to go streaming, man. 6 to 8 hours, bro. A minimum 6 to 8 hours.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that you're doing it. I'm glad that you're doing it because it's a long road. Take it from me. I've been streaming for almost 6 years. March will be 6 years for me. And it wasn't until 3 years ago when I found this game and started making gains. And it wasn't anything while we were on that partner push here on Twitch to do 8 to 12-hour streams, 14-hour streams, just because we needed to.
TwitchCon 2017, man. I was there.
Mm-hmm.
You were there.
I was
there.
Yeah. Sitting on that Queen Mary, baby. That's where I was. That's where we stayed, down in Long Beach, California.
Yeah.
And I was an affiliated streamer back then. And I made that choice. And I was, it was really interesting to see the differences between the mentalities of some of the people and some of the other people that were there. Some of them may be partners or some of them may be affiliates. And I think that was a very interesting for me when I came home and I had a stack of just business cards.
Oh, yeah.
And I would remember these people that I talked to them and, put out my spiel of, "Hi, I'm the Dean of Averages. Come on down to the School of Averages, man. We'll teach you how to be good at, how to be average at video games." And, hey, well, why would I want to be average? Well, if you're average, you're still better than half the other players in the game, and that's a lot of people.
You got so much feedback from pushing that idea out there to them, dude. That was good.
Yeah. But then you go and then you hit up those.
You're not partnered.
Well, it's rather they weren't partnered. They were so far behind the level that I was. I mean, it was like, hey, man, this guy talks a good game. And I'm like, well, where's your stream? Okay, fine. Well, you've only got 100 followers? Wow, that's surprising. I mean, it was very interesting to see the difference in how, what? I figured out why you wear those highly reflective glasses.
What?
I figured out why. That way you can
look.
Yep, that's right. You can look wherever you want to, and they can't see what you're looking at. So watch out, ladies. Watch out, ladies. Yeah. Cleavage. Watch out the cleavage, boys. That's it, man. That's all we got, man. hyf1re. Say goodbye.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you again. Appreciate it, Sir Venom.
There you go. I am Sir Venom IK, guys, right here, twitch.tv/Sir Venom IK. Hit me up on the Twitter at Sir_Venom_IK. Next week, we're taking a day off. We're taking next week off for probably next 2 weeks as we go to TwitchCon and come back. We won't be back until the 30th of the month, and we won't be ready to do a show on the 1st. So we'll wait 2 weeks before we do another one. hyf1re, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much for coming on the cast. Guys, go hit him up at Facebook, fb.gg/hyf1re with HYF and a 1 and an R and an E, and then at Twitter over at hyf1re. Spelled the same way. I can't even spit it out, hyf1re. I'm tired. Let's go.
I've spelled it so many times, man. HYF1re.
Let's go, boys. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much, man, for watching. I love you guys. I'm going to come back here in just a minute. I'm going to take a real quick break. We'll play some games, man. You down to play tonight for a little bit, or you got other things to do?
A little bit of restroom break. I can hang out.
All right, you want to hang out and play a couple games? Yeah. We can do that. All right, cool, guys.
Sure.
We're going to get some games coming up right after this, man. I love you guys. We'll see y'all next 2 weeks. See y'all.